man. I'm already late.
Watch this.
Watch next. Football talk is a big hit. Sunday nights to Wednesday nights, we striking a match cause we lit. Y'all know the name, we call it the Dub. On Friday nights, it feel like a club. Getting that VIP treatment on the sideline, they showing us love. Great interviews, go hugs, put in work, go rub. Texas youth and high school talking to page on Facebook, hold up. Coach trying to stand on the scene, giving advice, he do what he mean. Jay Mack and Swaggy Wick, rocking the gear, it's so clean.
Big guys and go easy, off the easy, push easy. With my steppers, our special kids, making plays ain't so easy. Trying to win, we so greedy. All our fans are so needy, cause they need to hear them talk about their club. We do it for the dub.
We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. That DF dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. That DF dub.
Welcome to the Dub, number one high school podcast starring Pat Boteezy, Jeremy McInnes, Whitfield Roderick, Coach Carr, and Ron Riser.
Well, all right. What's happening? What's going on? Welcome to the number one talk show. Speak out.
The Dub, baby. You heard it first. The Dub.
What's happening? It's your boy J Mac. We on the Dub. I got the homie B Rise is in the house. We brought back part 2. We brought back the Coach G. What's happening, Coach? Coach G. Coach, you on froze up?
Every week, bro. Every
week. Come on, G. We can't get you. Can't hear you, G. Boy, they always get us every week. I tell you what, Coach G, go out, come back in.
Come on, out every week, man. We just had a good 10-minute conversation with Coach.
Coach Criss, what's happening?
What's happening, guys? I'm glad y'all can have me on tonight. I can come in and listen to you guys. I heard a lot about you. I didn't want to stand you up. I wanted to make sure I was in, but I got a limited time because my wife said she's hungry.
Hey, I got it, man. Happy wife, happy life. We ain't trying to keep you long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I heard that you was the guy. Oh, we got my man, Coach Willow's in the house.
Well, what up, Coach?
What up? Coach Criss, what up, man?
Well, what's going on, Coach? How you doing?
Man, I'm blessed, man. Enjoying life, loving life. Glad to see you, man. You made my night, man.
Oh, good. Glad to be here. Glad I got invited and glad I can come and share with you guys. I always like to see Black excellence.
And that's what we strive for. Definitely what we strive for. Hopefully Coach G come on back in. He had, I don't know, the boogeyman done jumped in his Wi-Fi.
Every week?
Man, you know what? That's what B Ride like every week. Like we be having perfect conversations in the background before the show, pre-show, and then as soon as the show starts, it seems like something happened. I don't know what it is.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it happens a lot, man. It really do. But like I said, we know we ain't got you here long, so I'm gonna tell you the reason why we brought you on is we had a question, right? And Coach G started answering it last week. Was like, when we started, we went out and we got real cool with Coach Gates. Love what he was doing. Love what he doing out there in North Crowley. And he said something interesting that I thought was a good thing when he was saying that he wanted North Crowley to be the face of the 817. Like when you thought of Fort Worth, you thought of North Crowley football when it comes to football terms. And I thought that was like cool. So I started quoting it. I'm on Facebook, and I every time I talk about North Crowley, I put Fort Worth, Funky Town, and man, I got met with some resistance, Coach.
I can understand it, because when I think about Dallas, we think Sock, Carter, Skyline. You know, that's what we think about when we think about Dallas. Man, I understand that everybody loops Cedar Hill, DeSoto, Duncanville in there, and I get it because I understand the migration, but the resistance you get because if you're a true Fort Worthian, back in the day, there was time we wasn't even allowed to go out that way. They made it plain and clear that we are Crowley because it's called it not even separation now because North Crowley is in Fort Worth. You know, the housing is in Fort Worth, but you know, as Coach G was saying earlier, they made it clear that they were no part of Fort Worth. It was Crowley, Burleson, those places. When we were coming up, we couldn't even go. We couldn't even pass through there. We used to go all the way around. We didn't even go through there. We avoided there. So, I mean, what Coach Gates is doing is great. Representing, it is 817. You can't deny that. But it's not truly Fort Worth because if you talk to true Fort Worthians, even though the Fort Worth kids are being supplied by those my people, my generation, those were the guys that's out there now, the guys and the girls playing and making that great because you can find out almost everybody you talk to. Like when I go out to a North Crowley game, it's a reunion. I know everybody. I walk through there and it's everybody. Hey, Coach Criss. Hey, Coach Criss. How everybody doing? You know, because those kids have fed basically, not all of them, but a high majority of them have come from the Fort Worth, ODY, Dunbar, Southwest.
Right. So that's what I thought. I mean, it's to reference it to where I'm from. You know, because like I was saying, you know, before the show, you know, in the late '80s, it wasn't long. In the late '80s, DeSoto was calling when my brother who played at Carter, when they would play DeSoto, he was the N-word. They was calling us, you know, they would call us all kind of thugs and N-words and everything else. But you know, just a few years later, it was Chocolate City, like that just didn't even happen anymore.
Right. Yeah, because y'all migration was so fast. I remember the great Carter DeSoto game. People referenced it at Texas Stadium. They said that was Carter versus Carter. Yeah. Because all those kids in that game, they said that was great. The ones who were making all the plays, they came from Carter. And so that's the thing that you looked at back then. But you all migrated quicker than they did because Fort Worth, that was going true from Dallas to basically a suburb. Fort Worth first started on the inside, dealing with the integration on the inside of the city limits of Fort Worth. So Southwest was a white school. ODY was a white school. Trimble Tech kind of was a white school. So Coach G can speak to this, the fact that takeover took place first, then the move outside, because we really wasn't welcome out there.
Oh, Coach G, you back with us? Oh, you muted? I think you muted, Coach. Check your mute. We got
G
you.
not with us?
Man, they be on. Man, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, go on.
Dude, dog. He was just talking.
Hey, but Coach Criss, let me ask you this though, man. When you think about the Carter and that migration, the Sock migration, like that was literally just across the highway. So when it comes to North Crowley, you know, how far is that from the actual epicenter of 817? And what does 817 consist of, right? So when you talk about 817, you say Fort Worth. To me, historically, I'm thinking Dunbar, ODY. I haven't heard of a school that has had the type of success that North Crowley has had in Fort Worth. And maybe you can help me with that because I mean my knowledge of Fort Worth is not very strong. But from what I'm used to, I'm thinking Dunbar, ODY, Trimble Tech. I'm not thinking North Crowley. You know what I'm saying? And when did that actually happen?
So North Crowley, it happened quick, Will, because North Crowley goes and win a state championship. I want to say 2002, 2003, somewhere in there. And basically, those kids that started out maybe like 4-6, and then they went on this 6-game winning streak, and they become a state champion. And so what you got is that happened all of a sudden, but it happened basically with the Fort Worth kids because The housing addition that came up out there, which is considered to be North Crowley, out back down Hewlin Street, because that's where it's basically off of. Then it was a housing explosion, so everybody started moving that way. But it's about 10 to 15 miles. It's not like across the highway. See, across the highway, for that is Everett. Everett and Forest Hill and ODY, they share a line. North Crowley, because of the land, some of it still has some Fourth ISD schools, elementary schools in there, but there is nothing they share a line with. The closest is Southwest in North Crowley. North Crowley and Crowley High School are about 2 miles from each other. But the attendance zone comes back toward the north.
So say when you talk about the migration for DeSoto, I remember it vividly being, particularly when it goes back to that around 87, 88 years, right?
Right.
And DeSoto kind of after the years where I think they was the only school that had quarter that year, and so after that, you start, DeSoto start making its presence known. But even when you think about Dunbar and you think about ODY and you think about Fort Worth, like the history of football wasn't prevalent, right? So when you think about North Crowley, to me, when they won state, that became, I understand it's not Fort Worth, right? But I think when you think of Coach Gates and you think of North Crowley and you think of 817, right. Man, they look like a Fort Worth school, Coach. You know what I'm saying?
That's not true. That's not true.
Okay. So here's what I'm saying. So ODY don't have an all-black team?
They do.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Does Dunbar have an all-black team?
They do.
Does North Crowley have an all-black team?
They do.
Okay, so how don't they look alike?
Because we got to talk about the makeup of the schools.
Right.
See, it's just like if you looked at my team when I was coaching in Sam Houston, you wouldn't think that Sam Houston was 86% Hispanic. See, ODY and Dunbar have a lot of Latinos in the school now. Like ODY is not
everywhere though, Coach. That's school. Everywhere. That's everywhere though. So, but it's the same way in Carter. It's the same way at a lot of these inner city schools.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, but you're talking about and that's what I'm trying to say. North Crowley has more to pick from.
Correct.
You can go in the hall and grab folks in North Crowley. People are moving. The good kids, the better athletes are moving there. ODY, Dunbar, and Southwest sitting there with 1,100 kids and 10,000 kids. Okay, but probably only sitting there with about 80 to 85 because the team that North Crowley got 80 on their varsity, Dunbar got 28, ODY
maybe
6. That's why they
maybe.
Not the same.
So you're saying you're not the same because they don't have the amount of students that those other schools have, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
What I'm saying is they're not. What I'm saying is they're not the same because let's point to Dunbar. Dunbar got 786 kids at that school.
Mm-hmm.
786. 20% look like me and you.
Mm-hmm.
That 20% play most of the athletics except for softball, baseball, and soccer.
Correct.
Right.
But what I'm saying though, Coach, you're talking about who are going to those schools. I'm saying when you look at a football program, I'm not talking about school, because if we want to go there, we can sit there and say, look at Skyline. They got more kids than anybody. But they football team is still almost 100% black.
Yeah, but when you got
so what I'm saying is you can go to any inner city school. You're gonna have the same makeup.
Not the same. Skyline is a manual with those 26 clusters.
Oh, okay, coach. But every school is the same now, Coach. That's what I'm saying. All right. Every school within the ISD has some type of collegiate academy where they can pull kids.
Okay.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just the genetic makeup of that school within kids in that district. Within their school zone. I'm saying Dunbar doesn't have a lot of kids to choose from because a lot of people are not going to Dunbar.
That's true.
They're not.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
And
They're going
it's the
down.
same for ODY.
They're going
Exactly.
4 miles down the street to Eastern Hills.
There you go, Coach. There you go.
So I got a question. Where is what's the closest school to North Crowley? I mean, because technically they are Fort Worth address. So
Southwest.
What's Southwest is the next high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Southwest right there. Yeah.
Right down Hewlin.
Mm-hmm.
And Southwest, that's where Philip Tanner at, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had
That's
him
a
on the
great
show.
person you could have on the show. He could definitely tell you about
Because he
being a DISD kid coaching in Fort Worth ISD.
We've had him on, and he
fighting that battle.
He definitely talked about the struggles of getting the kids.
Right. He had a hard time himself.
Yeah. So okay. So that being said, let's go back, right? Let's go back, Coach. Coach Criss, tell us, because like I say, it's still hard. I understand what you're saying, but it's still kind of hard to see it because with Black Flight, it feels like, you know, once the majority is moved over, they kind of accept it, right? You kind of accept your new environment, right? So, and like I said, DeSoto was a very racist town. I remember Coach Ward, he was telling us earlier how, you know, he got pulled over in DeSoto, how hard it was. So, where it is, what I'm asking is, what is the sticking point with it? Is it just y'all just dug in the dirt and just said, you know what I'm saying? Y'all just put the drill line in the dirt and just said, hey man, we ain't part of that. You know what I'm saying?
No, right. That's not it, because the North Crowley, the contingent, I would say 80% of them. I'm not gonna say all of it, because some people that moved from outside, they actually grew up in Crowley. But what we're saying is that you have to understand it's a totally different dynamic. See, Fort Worth had to have a takeover inside the inner city first. Because South 6 and Eastwood, Poly, and the north side were your black neighborhoods. So Forest Hill, where ODY is, black people didn't live there.
No, sir.
So we moved out to Forest Hill. Rolling Hills, black people didn't live there. Eastern Hills, over there in Meadowbrook, those were your dentists and your young lawyers, your young dentists. That's why there's those big houses over there. They didn't live there.
Big old golf course.
Out of the creek, and took them and moved them to Eastern Hill, because those kids at Eastern Hills should have been going to Dunbar.
Absolutely.
And so it's a different dynamic. That had to happen first. Did nobody go to Southwest? Black kids didn't go to Wedgewood Middle School.
No, sir.
So they bust those kids from the South Side. So you talk to somebody from the South Side, you go get, I went to Southwest, I went to Pascal, I went to Trimble Tech.
Yep.
You have they always pull from the South Side. So that's a dynamic that don't nobody understand if they're not from Fort Worth. That takeover took place first. So we didn't have it that long. And then immediately they started tugging for our kids. Because when I-20 got built through there in those apartments, the first flight is not necessarily North Crowley. The first flight is to Arlington.
Is that where Arlington Heights come in?
Right.
No, Arlington Heights on the west side.
Yeah.
That's a whole different animal.
Yep.
Right.
So,
that's the military base.
Coach G,
but Arlington Heights didn't become worth anything Carswell Air Force Base is right there off of 30. Those kids were military kids and old rich money. When I want to say when they closed that base, what was it, Coach? Around 85? Well, no, about 88, 89.
88, 99, right? Early 90s. Yeah, close to early 90s.
Yeah, early 90s. Arlington Heights went down. They brought that base back. Now it's the Joint Reserve Base, Carswell. Arlington Heights is back.
But see,
so Coach, let me ask you a question. Coach.
Go ahead.
So who benefited first? Like the most, so like when you talk about Arlington Heights, so what benefited first from Black Flight from Fort Worth? When you talk about, you know, who got the first immediate benefit of Black Flight? Was it, because, you know, think about it, was it Alito? right? Because a lot of those kids go to Lido. Like, what school benefited the most
We
from
didn't
black
move
flight?
to Lido. Lido has nothing to do with the flight.
Hey,
Right.
there go our guy,
Okay.
man. Right on time. Coach Criss called him out.
Did
What's
it?
happening, Coach Adam?
Man, what's
So,
going on, man? Y'all doing all right?
he must have heard me, huh?
Yeah, you called his name, man. He
Man,
popped up.
I heard Fort Worth ISD being thrown around, man. So I had to come figure out what was being spoke about it.
Hey, we trying to figure it out, Coach. Coach, we trying to figure it out.
Man, we in this together.
So J Mac.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's back up. So let's walk this dog. So when integration hit and all south side of Fort Worth, that's where I grew up mostly. That's the most talent-rich area in Fort Worth. Period. Okay. All those kids started to spread out.
Yep.
The first school that benefited from integration and all the black kids being spread out was Trimble Tech.
Trimble Tech. There you go, G.
Trimble Tech football in the 80s was a force.
Yeah.
When I left in 90, we went 3 rounds deep and got our heads kicked in by Odessa Permian in the coldest cold I ever felt in my life. and after that, it went down. Then they started moving to the east side. Then you had Eastern Hills. You had Eastern Hills and Dunbar. If you remember, Dunbar went 4 rounds deep and lost in the regional. I cannot remember who they lost to the regional final
Amarillo.
to.
They lost to Amarillo in the regional finals at TCU. They lost to Amarillo.
Absolutely. And then I want to say 2 years later, they went 3 rounds deep and lost 47-41 to Stephenville. Then, but in the middle of that, kids were already leaking out of O.D. Wyatt to Everman. They won 2 state titles back to back.
You know why?
Then, on top of that, now we're talking about, okay, now Everman, which like I tell people all the time, when I was growing up, we intermingled with Everman kids.
That's right.
When we went to the Eckerd, the Minyard on Forest Hill Drive, we saw them people all the time.
Not the Eckers. Boy, my homie old school.
Hey, I'm fitty.
Hey, G, and at the snow cone stand.
Yes, sir. Dairy Queen at the snow cone stand and Dairy Queen. Yeah. Yes, sir. So that's where it started. So in the middle of that, let's back up to 88 when Trimble Tech got good. I went to Trimble Tech. I didn't go to ODY. My daddy played for your daddy, Coach Criss, at Como. Before Como closed down in 64.
Right.
Okay. So, but my daddy said at that time in Forest Hill, when we were moving in, they didn't want us there and it turned quickly.
Yeah.
So he said, hey, you going to Tech. Yeah. Now, what I'll never forget it. We played Southwest at Farrington Field. We come out the tunnel. There are no less than 300 rebel flags flying around in that stadium. No less. That's how Southwest wasn't the Raiders. They were the Rebels. The Rebels.
About what Coach Tanner at now?
What Oliver Miller was.
I done heard the story now. I already heard the story.
Yeah. Right.
So ain't nothing new.
You ain't nothing new. So so on that Southwest side, on that side where the North Crowley pipeline is, they didn't want us over there. We couldn't go over there. They had a TCU flag on one side and a Rebel flag on the other. Now, let's go down to when we visited Crowley. We usually played, Crowley was what, 3A back then? We were 5A.
They were the country.
Crowley, we played them in basketball. Some of the most vile things I've ever heard about us, my people there. I mean, still to this day, sear it in your brain. They did not want us there. They made it clear, this is Crowley, and y'all better get y'all up out of here as soon as this game is over. And that's a fact. That's a fact.
So now we start coming into the middle 2000s. Now you're starting to see those kids, because needless to say, that state championship team at North Crowley, that was a white team. That wasn't a black team. That was a white team.
Yeah,
so I'll let Coach Criss take it from there, because he was in the game then.
Yeah, they had a few key pieces. And like
yeah.
So what people don't know about that state championship team is that they had rebelled, North Crowley kids.
Yes,
Coach Dean Rogers, who's at Waxahachie right now, who later became the head coach there, he was the defensive coordinator. So in the midst of their rebellion, they was like shutting it down. And Coach Roger calls a meeting, and he said, hey, y'all, look, no matter what y'all think, no matter what y'all are saying, you guys, y'all need to come on. And he had that meeting, and they just started rallying. He got them to rally, and they rallied to the point, like I said, they reeled off about 8 or 9 in a row. Always to
4 lost team, 4 or 5 lost team.
Yeah, they was like, I think they're the only team. If you go back and look at the record, they were like a losing team or a 5-5 team entering the playoffs and made that run.
Yeah, 4 or 5 lost team.
Yeah, they were that. So that's how that started, and then that started some of the migration, because, like I said, then the housing started coming up, and then they started pushing that way. So Arlington kind of got saturated. So your only move to kind of stay near where you grew up then became North Crowley. Well, why did they go to North Crowley? Because they wasn't going to North Crowley. They were going to North Crowley High School. They were still living in Fort Worth.
Absolutely.
So they kept the Fort Worth address. And so then Crowley, because like right now, if truth be told, if them people who are still hanging around, what's going on in Crowley right now, they probably couldn't stomach it. Black soup, black principals.
You said they rolling over in their grave right now.
Yeah.
Man.
You said they rolling over in their grave right now.
Black AD, black principals, 2 black coaches.
Man.
Okay, if they got the time capsule, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't believe what was happening. So that's what started. So what Coach Gates has done is trying to just go on to the area code of 817, because the 817 was a huge area code, because there's a lot of land that encompasses that. Keller is 817.
It is, but they'll never use it. They'll never use it.
So tell me this, Coach. Okay, so cause we got Coach Tanner here, and I'm very, very grateful, Coach. I'm very, very grateful. We got you here. I got a question to ask you now, right? Because I didn't know this, so I got some more information. So you are the closest school to the Crowley school.
Yeah.
So what I need to know from you, Coach, is how you combating the wave that's going on. Because hey, we ain't gonna play with it now, Coach. Coach Lynn is at regular Crowley now, so now you gotta not overcome just Coach Gates. Now you got to try to overcome Coach Lynn and Coach Gates.
No doubt. I think the biggest thing, because when I first got there, was about losing your kids to Crowley and North Crowley and things like that. But one thing I know is about Fort Worth kids. Now, Fort Worth kids want to be about Fort Worth. So you got to build something for them to stay. You got to build something, get them a reason, something to take pride in, because that's one thing I know about Fort Worth kids. Now, I'm a Dallas ISD kid, but one thing about Fort Worth kids is they stand strong on that funky town now, and that's the thing you got to that's the thing you got to bring back, and that's the way that we're trying to bring back at Southwest High School is that funky town swag, and that's what they need. That's what the kids want. That's what Gates is going to be able to offer over at North Crowley. That sense of entitlement, that individuality, like this is who we are. So that's my thing at Southwest, being able to combat that is showing them now, man, you guys are from Fort Worth. We're going to hold it down in Fort Worth, and we can win ball games in Fort Worth. It's been so saturated that kids feel they can't, So not only the Crowleys, the Alitos taking the kids, and they going and saying you can't win in Fort Worth. That's the message that they putting out to get our kids is you can't win in Fort Worth, But man, truth be told, it's a lot of Fort Worth cats feel you can't win in Fort Worth. So it got to be a rewiring of our mindset that, we're going to bring that funky town swag back and handle our business and keep our kids where they want to be. But the thing about it, our kids want to win. They want to be where they want to be from Fort Worth, but at the same time, Coach, we want to win too. So if you can put 2 and 2 together, it's not going to be hard to keep your kids in Fort Worth because that's where they want to be. But at the same time, they want to keep all their parents are Fort Worth through and through. 90 to 95% of my kids is bloodline. It's bloodline, and that's the good thing that I like about Fort Worth is they gonna stay there. Whether it's from east side, north side, west side, like they gonna stay true to where they are. But at the same time, now it's the day of social media and all this. Kids want to win, so we got to make sure that we giving our kids winning product and putting their position into win in Fort Worth.
Yeah, and that you are true. You are very correct. And I don't know how. I don't know if I mentioned you. I know I mentioned Eastern Hills. I think if we talk about who could be the sock coming out of Fort Worth ISD, I feel like it can either be Eastern Hills or Southwest.
Yeah, for sure. Eastern Hills got, and like I said, that alumni stronghold there at Eastern Hills. And I think when you start looking at alumni who can get behind your school. That's why Southwest SOC was able to take that leap because they had so much alumni, so much community support behind them. One thing I ran into when I first got to Southwest is I think I had a meet the greet night, and it was like, oh yeah, Coach PT coming trying to change the inner city school, but then you got the rebels that took offense. Oh, this is not inner city. I'm like, well, shit, if this ain't inner city, y'all need to show me inner city then. So that's the battle you fighting at Southwest. You still fighting the rebels. If you even drive around our school, you'll see, okay, cool. All right, them the rebels, and then them the Raiders.
Yeah.
So that's the battle I'm fighting is trying to figure out how I can navigate through the system to get the Raiders. I want the Raiders and the Rebel. I need all the support, So how can I navigate through the system and navigate through the community to be able to get all that support back and behind Southwest High School? So that's the move, and that's what SOC did. It took time. It took 8 years for Todd and them to beat the streets. But at the same time, before Todd, Emmett laid the foundation.
I think Emmett got it rolling. Emmett got it rolling, and even if you want to go back and give Kendall and
Coach Miller,
and Coach Gilbert, you got to give him credit too. You got to give them credit because they started that.
Right, and it always show up in the win-loss column. Because G wasn't winning the games like that, but he was still laying the foundation so that once Emmett got it, now the wins are piling up. But the culture and foundation is already set, and that's what people gotta understand. It's gonna take time. You're gonna take some losses when you setting the foundation and the culture, but it's gonna pay out. It's gonna be long-term investment, and the longevity is gonna be there. So Todd was able to come in and not be that egotistic coach saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do it my way and nobody else's way." But built on what Emmett did, G did, Miller did, and then that's when it started coming to the state championships, the state titles, and Dallas ISD, the athletes, Sylvia, Scotty, all of them jump behind it, behind that movement, and that's what got to happen to Southwest and Fort Worth ISD.
That's the next question.
Yeah.
That's the next question I got for you is, and Coach Criss and Coach G, because y'all Fort Worth guys, we've just seen the atrocity is what I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it atrocity that happened with ODY basketball team.
Yeah.
And the lack of support and how that fell apart. And we also seeing a fallout from that with the new AD and the new the superintendent that made everybody. Everybody has to go. First off, I want to know what your thoughts about that is. I start with you, Coach Criss. Tell me, what was your thoughts when you heard that?
With her, which what?
About the ODY situation and then the fallout from it, doing a clean sweep through the AD, all the athletic directors and all that.
Well, what she did was, I want to make sure we get the facts, is that she did the clean sweep through the whole upper central administration. Okay. It came out when Matt tweeted that out, it made it seem like she just harped on the athletic department.
Right.
Okay.
Brought him in and said, "Hey, look, it don't mean you're gonna lose your job. You just need to reapply," because she had to streamline to do that. Now, to a Phillip point talk about, and Coach G could talk about this. When we used to win in Fort Worth, when ODY went to the regional finals right after I left and went to Bowie, it was everybody was about the same. The suburbs wasn't doing what they were doing now. Their pay wasn't extreme. Everything, facilities wasn't a big deal. Everybody had the same little old field. Actually, Fort Worth at the time probably had a little better facilities because they had a true field house. Because they didn't have field houses in Arlington. But then all that happened. So Fort Worth, and I love my district. I always try to give back to it. Like they got stuck. It's just like as everybody started moving forward, they got stuck. So and Coach Tanner knows this. He's from Dallas. He saw what DISD just did. You look at that gym, they gave him spread. You look at Sox gym, you look at Carter's gym. Then when they built Fort Worth, the field house, they didn't do anything. ODY got the best field house. Why? Because the architect on my brother's project was a chaparral, and he didn't let them cut corners. But the other schools didn't get that advantage. And so when you're looking at, okay, what can we do? What can we do? Y'all don't know these little things. Like, okay, why can't they win? Well, how do you win when your budget is $6,000? How do you win when you only got 8 coaches on your staff? And see, Jason has done a good job. Todd has done a great job of being able to say, look, this is what I need. Here's my staff. And you know what? We got to pay them. And so those are the things, those are the little nuances. Aesthetically, yeah, you go out there and look at them, but it's the other things to support, like COVID. When COVID hit, UIL took away that you had to take physicals because they didn't want nobody to go do all that, right?
Right.
Y'all didn't know that Fourth ISD didn't drop that. They didn't waive that. I was coaching at Sam Houston. My kids didn't have to have a physical. In Fort Worth, they have to have a physical. So Coach Lawson at Dunbar, trying to start the season, he got 13 people because wasn't nobody going to get no physical because them parents weren't trying to do that. Those are the little small things that happen. So whereas Scotty and Sylvia and MT and Cinnamon, they get behind because what are they? They Dallas people. They get behind that. They went behind their schools. Okay, so Fort Worth don't have nobody in administration, then athletic administration. That's a so-called Fourth ISD person. There lies your difference. Let me stop preaching.
Hey man, we in church, man. It's Sunday. Hallelujah. We with you. Hey, but tell what you think about that, Coach Tanner. Just about, are you excited? Is that something that made you excited? Do you feel like it's gonna be a change?
It should be. You know, I wasn't a lot of folk panicked and felt like the roof was burning down. That's only because it happened in the big district. In small districts, whenever a superintendent come in, he or she brings their AD. That's normal. That's a formality. I'm gonna bring my AD as a superintendent. I think this is the first time it was in a big district, so that's why people went in such an uproar about it. But again, from speaking with her, like her mindset is, I'm paying too many people up top for us not to be as good as we should be. Not only on the grass, but also in the classrooms. You know, so why am I paying all these people all this money up top and we don't see the investment or the dividends from behind it? So I support a decision. You know, it was like, okay, cool. We got to get better at XYZ. I want to get better at XYZ. So if she come in, like, again, I think I was looking at we was at the Air District track meet. Scoreboard not working. That's not gonna happen at Kincaid.
Wasn't that crazy, Coach?
That's not gonna happen at Kincaid. You know, when you go to Kincaid rolling now. So
that's not happening at Spring.
Only 30 minutes up the street. You know, so how can Kincaid get it, but Clark or Farrington? We can't get it in Fort Worth ISD, and I think that's a big thing, man. Just even last year, Alito comes in playing at Hanley, and Alito gets the home locker room. Like, that can't happen.
Hell,
right.
No.
That can't
Don't go there.
Right.
Grapevine plays Pollard. They made
happen.
Pollard go on they gave Grapevine both locker room and made Pollard go under the stands to another. See,
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the inside.
Wow.
I'm like, you can't go that route now.
Me stop.
You know, Alito come and get in the home locker room. Nah.
Hey, y'all beat me to the punch on that one.
Yeah.
Hey man, we got
You beat me to the punch on that one.
You know that ain't gonna ride at DISD. It's gonna
At all.
No, at all. You know that ain't gonna ride. Man, them fight words, man.
Yeah. But I mean,
beat me to the punch on that one.
Like, as a coach, it's like, man, my admin don't even care about me enough to fight for me to get my home locker room. You know?
Hey, but let me ask y'all. But Philip, let me ask you this though, man. On the cool, That just didn't start happening, right? That
No.
has been something that's been.
Well, it did.
For a minute,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
they did.
so,
No, it's kind
so,
of.
so hold on, fellas, listen to me. I'm more the devil's advocate, right? I'm sitting here listening to it all, right? I'm digesting it all. I don't have a dog in the fight. I am probably one of the few people you probably have ever met that can sit here and tell you 8 to 10 years ago that you can win a state championship from a DISD school. And everybody sit there and told me I lied because of facilities. Everybody sit there and told me I lied. No, you cannot. So when I sit here and I listen to what y'all saying, I'm going to go back to this. Name me a team out of Fort Worth that was raising hell in football.
Trimble Tech. Dunbar.
Why?
Tell me Trimble Tech success, coach.
Trimble Tech success.
Trimble Tech got to the they got to the third round. ODY got to the regional finals. Dunbar got to the regional finals.
Okay, so nobody's been to semifinals of first.
No.
So when I look at Fort Worth, and I'm telling you this because and during the pandemic, I volunteered my time with Pac Prime. I got an opportunity to sit out there and watch all this Fort Worth talent from TCU, from TNS, Pac Prime, the little Alabama team, the Crimson Tide. Yes, coach. So much talent out there, coach. But those kids are not going to school in Fort Worth. They haven't been going to school in Fort Worth in a very long time, coach. In a very long time. I always wonder, why couldn't Fort Worth be just as good as DISD when they have just as much talent? It is just as much talent, if not more, when you consider the success of Alito, even when Brewer was trying to make a. Okay, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Can you hear me, coach? You got me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to figure. Okay, I'm. That's it. But just if y'all can help me with that, because there is so much talent in Fort Worth, bro. That Fort Worth literally should be playing periodically.
Level.
Yeah. Yes, where at high school level, where they should be playing for championships, coach.
But see, Will, that's from the surface. See, me and G understand it's a mentality too. With you, you saw those kids, right? So the mentality starts with those parents, and it's a different. Coach, goes back to my original thing. The mindset from Fort Worth and Dallas are different. There's a different mindset.
Okay, hold on, Coach Chris. I got one question to ask Will. Well, you was out there watching all them Pee Wee games with all that Fort Worth talent. I just want to know how many high school coaches you saw out there.
None.
That's what the problem. I can answer. That answer your question right there.
Coach, that's what I'm saying, Coach. That's what I'm saying. If I am in Fort Worth and I'm giving you free game, PT, because you know I love you. You need to go build a relationship with Kenneth Mann over at Pac Prime. Mm-hmm. That's where you need to go. Right now, today, you need to pick up the phone and figure out how to build a relationship with that man. He's going to change your program.
You say Kenneth Mann,
K-Man. K-Man.
They need a program to stand behind.
And I will say this.
His son was all world in Fort Worth. Went to Oklahoma. His son graduated from Oklahoma. His son played ball at Oklahoma.
Man, and see, that's why I asked that, because I remember me and Will a long time ago. Me and Will had a junior high spring league to help kids going into high school. And you know who was at them practices and at them games? Coach Sample.
Yeah.
Okay, I can chime in on that.
Go ahead, Coach.
So we had the Forest Hill Chaparrals, the Southside Hornets, and the TCU. They all would practice up there at ODY and play at ODY. The Forest Hill Chaparrals, I bought all their stuff for them. They practice like ODY, look like ODY. So they show the colors. And
hey, you see it? You see it?
That's there. My brother right now, they opens up and goes out there and they open up the field. One of the few people open up the field for that. This is how I know what I'm talking about, because I know about the parent mentality.
Okay.
Because if you drive out there, and PT can speak to this, if you drive out there and you see Alito, okay, forget Alito. If I drive over and look at Dallas Carter, Sock, Kimball, guess what they've done at those places? If I go in that gym, go to Southwest Gym, go to Kimball Gym. We're not gonna do Suburb. Go to Kimball's Gym and Southwest Gym. PT, where they going?
Definitely going 3606 Southwest Moreland now.
That's exactly right. Because it's aesthetic, it's the mind, what you look at and what you see. So when they do all that, we so far behind. Okay, turf fields, Fort Worth got them. Got 4-lane track around there. They don't have all the stuff. They got all the people. All that plays in there. PT, he's not gonna give you all the struggle. I can talk to PT because I know what he's going up against. I know what he's going up against. They running track again at Southwest. Finally. I was so happy to see it the other night. Fine, somebody ran 41, started running 44 and 45. But they working their tails off to do it. You got to understand this. Yeah, there's talent when they come up. There's talent everywhere. But I know one thing, the cultivation, when you work outside to be the hire coaches to do it outside, they not Fort Worth people. That's hard because they don't stay. They don't stay. Who's the long-term coaches? ODY, my brother. Why? 16 years. Why? Fort Worth ISD product. Todd Lawson. Why? Went to Dunbar. Fort Worth ISD product. Devin. Why is they getting a turnaround? Fort Worth ISD product. You got to get some people in there. Phillip is coming from Kimball. I told him, I said, when he came and got the job, I said, Coach, you gonna be all right. But I told him, he'll tell you, I said, the Fort Worth parent is from the Dallas parent.
No doubt.
PT is experiencing that. And he understands it. But like he said, you put together a winner, they'll ride or die for you. But guess what? The best alumni is Dunbar, number one. I ain't saying it because I'm a Wildcat, but it's the truth. Because they got the one who could come behind and rally. Second best is ODY.
Hold on, Coach Criss. Hold on. It's another alumni lumped in with them Wildcats.
I know, Ted.
I am Turl. And Dunbar the same.
But they ain't playing no more.
But they Dunbar people.
Right.
They send all their kids to Dunbar.
That's the generational dip. I'm talking about the ones who playing. So
yes, sir.
You can do it with Sock.
Yes, sir.
Alumni jumped in and bought a set of uniforms.
Yep.
That's why they can have 3 or 4 helmets, because they want the best for their kid and the alumni.
Well, shoot, fellas, man. Hey, the missus done fixed dinner, so I'm gonna have to jump off, man. So I can.
Hold on, Coach Tanner.
Yes, sir.
Tell them people about that dog you got over there, Raylan Carter, before you leave.
Yeah. Now Raylan Carter's a dude. Now I done had to cuss out Gates. I done had to cuss out Buck at Alito. I done had to cuss out everybody. Let him know he ain't going nowhere. And again, it just shows he's Fort Worth ISD. His daddy dropped bus for Fort Worth ISD. Mama was a Fort Worth ISD product. Went through the Wolverines, so he want to be there. He the kid that want to say, "Oh, put Fort Worth ISD on my back." And again, another dog that Fort Worth ISD let get away was the BJ Allen kid to Alito.
Man,
so you letting them kids get to Alito, but Raylan Carter, man, he's a dog now. So
he wasn't the only one that got to Alito. It was a bunch of
them. Yeah.
I tell you what, Coach, we got to get you back on, Coach Tanner, when you got time.
Most definitely.
And we definitely here to help you, because you doubted. You Oak Cliff number one.
Yes, sir.
And all of us originally from Oak Cliff. So if we can anything we can do to help you out there, man, just let us know. We coming out.
Most definitely. Yes, sir.
They don't need to come out. They need to get their checkbook out.
Yeah, man. Send me a couple dollars now.
Hey, we'll come out and shake hands and kiss babies with you. That's all.
Hey, as long as them babies can run and tackle, we good.
Hey, Phillip, peep this though.
I gotta run though. I see y'all.
Okay, Coach Criss.
We did do a pre-uniform for the Funk though, for ODY. We did do that.
I'm about to do something crazy with our helmets now. Y'all gonna see when they come out, man. I decals on our helmets. I gotta hold it down before. I'm Dallas side. I always felt Fort Worth a little brother, but now I'm in there now, so I gotta hold it down for Fort Worth while I'm here.
Hey man, hold it down, man. We definitely gonna get out there more this coming up year to support what you got going on, man. Because like I say, somebody got to step up.
Man, most definitely.
And I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Gates and Lynn. So I'm rooting for the Crowley schools, but I also want to see somebody from Fort Worth ISD step up.
For sure, man. Southwest, we gonna hold it down now.
No, you will.
And tell that
no, you will.
You got he still could go to Michigan. We're working on it.
Yeah, all right, now y'all take care.
All right. They step out and look who step in.
Come on, man. In the darkness of night.
In the dark. Hey, I ain't even gonna ask him where he at because I don't know. It might not be good to know.
Hey, this is my one question. I kind of want to piggyback out what Will was saying. Like, I think what Will tried to hit to, and tell me if I'm right, Will, is that Fort Worth, you never had that signature team in football. Like, Dunbar was basketball. It's like who was the signature team in football in Dunbar?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like they
never had one.
I get what Will was saying.
When you say the signature team, you mean the one that won it?
Not so much one. You know what I'm saying? Just as far as the one that like ran the district, for X amount of years, or in this decade, this was the best team, or like.
I want to say ODY won district like 8-9 years in a row.
No. I mean, okay. Like who was the Dallas Carter like of the 80s and 90s? Like in
Triple Tech, and then 90s, Arlington Heights.
With y'all,
I got you. I get your point, Coach. I get your point.
Yeah. And it would have been good to ask Coach Criss that, but because I knew where Will was trying to go, but I didn't know Will was gonna be like Willow and ask it in a different kind of way. But I got what he was saying because one thing about Sock was able to go to rally the troops because it's a membrane in the Sock community that Sock has been good.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like Sock has been really good before. So it's not like it was just you asking people to come believe in your dream.
Yeah, well, I have intimate knowledge of what South Oak Cliff was doing. I carried mail in South Oak Cliff when there was the South Oak Cliff post office over there in the strip mall. I went over there when it was named Dr. Caesar Clark. That's where I started my managerial time in the Postal Service and still going. So at that post office, everybody in there South Oak Cliff alumni. I was the Fort Worth guy. I was Funky Town because they wouldn't pick up our trash. So I heard, to this day, back then until now, whatever Sock. Well, I don't know. That's what they told me. Whatever Sock needed, they took care of. I gave time off for them to go protest to get a new building. They were out there. So it's a real life community over there.
Right. So through the decades, because I'm saying this Fort Worth stuff, it sounds like it's been some decade problems. Like
absolutely,
like they've never had.
Where's the big wig people? Like,
you break it up, Coach.
It might be in a bad area.
You broke up a little bit. You broke up.
I say, why ain't no big wigs done caused the uproar over there? Over what's been happening since we talking about some decades.
Because they.
Well, hell, I mean, Santa just told you they split. Hell, they got half Raiders, half Rebels.
And it's a lot of folks that don't want to let go, and part of that is there was, okay, so let's back up. There was a superintendent, which if you did your research on Coach Criss's Daddy Criss, Walter Dansby. Walter Dansby was the superintendent of Fort Worth. He was a coach in Fort Worth. He started the rise back in Fort Worth. They let him go. He got a bond pass, what the folks wanted him to pass, and they didn't renew his contract. And the rest of the black folk that I know said we will never send a kid of ours to Fort Worth ISD from the way that you did Dr. Walter Dansby.
Oh, wow.
That's wild. Well,
And then, like you said, the facilities, and to me, it's not just facilities, it's numbers. I mean, I can't remember what school it was during COVID. They were looking for a game from freshman all the way up, and the Fort Worth ISD school reached out and said, "Yeah, we'll play you." And they said, "No, because you don't have 2 freshmen, 1 varsity. I mean, 2 freshmen, 1 junior varsity." You know, most Fort Worth ISD schools, if they have a freshman team, it's about 15 kids. If they have a junior varsity, might be 20 kids. And you know, most of their varsities, like Coach Criss was saying, maybe 30. That's a numbers problem.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm still and I'm gonna ask. I gotta ask Coach Todd because I don't know if he heard this. I want to ask him the question, and I guarantee you, Willow and B. Rise probably still shook. Coach, can you imagine playing Alito at Kincaid and they get the home locker room?
No, not really. Even though both locker rooms are identical, but I still couldn't.
Or even at Sprague.
Yeah. I mean, but they're identical at that motherfucker too.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. To put it like this, say y'all played at Duncanville, and you supposed to be the home, and they sent you the home team. They sent you up under the stands. How about that, then?
No, it's about what you stand for.
Right. I
mean, like, shit. I mean, that ain't gonna happen because first of all, like, why everybody don't know this story?
Right. We
That's
know
what
it.
I want to know.
We know it, but like, we know it, but you know, it's one of those. The word, do people really care? And when I heard the story that Grapevine took both locker rooms and made Polly get dressed up under the stands, that blew my mind.
Hell,
the taxpayers should have burnt that place down.
Hey, you muted, Will. Will, you muted.
Hey, we still be laughing when Pinkerton ran out the tunnel with the other team out their tunnel.
Yeah, no.
Taxpayers, Coach. Taxpayers.
Now, it wouldn't even be taxpayers. We wouldn't even have to get that far.
Yeah, it's a coach problem, Coach. There is no way in hell that I'm finna play y'all and I got to go dress under the stadium. My own stands, my own stadium? No, sir. No, sir. There's a reason why I will paint their locker room pink.
Yeah.
The reason why they call home field advantage, Coach.
It's the reason why Duncanville make you get up on the stand.
That's just what it is. Yeah. see, Coach G, a lot of people are sitting here making these excuses, and all I'm hearing is the people who running these programs not building programs, Coach.
Right.
You're a leader of men. You can't let that happen. Coach Todd ain't gonna let that happen. Coach Samples ain't gonna let that happen. Coach Mathis ain't gonna let that happen. Coach Gates ain't gonna let that happen. Coach Tanner ain't gonna let that happen. That's a leadership issue, Coach.
It is.
So we keep talking about 817. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. I don't even want to go there, but I'm cool.
hey, Willow. You been going this far, saying what's on your mind. We ain't gonna stop.
Yeah, you might well go slam it in fifth gear, man. Go slam it in fifth gear.
I got you, Coach G. All I'm saying is, go ahead, Coach. I'm listening.
He breaking up.
Hey, I'm gonna get in on my other line.
Hey, J Mac.
Yeah, I hear you now.
Can you hear me, J Mac?
Yeah, I hear you now. I did hear you.
Cool.
Yeah, I think Coach Ty breaking up.
Coach Ty, we gotta get a better area. Yeah, he froze up. Yeah, you froze up, Coach.
Yeah, man, he driving. He might be in he might be on Bellline somewhere.
Nah, he over there. He over there off Malcolm X. That's one of them Malcolm X signals.
Oh shit.
He pulling up to the Cliff Club.
Coach, you back in yet?
There you go.
Look, he ain't got no sock gear. He got a Nike shirt on and everything.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Coach Creepy. Coach Creepy, he got that Nike shirt on.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you, Coach. Oh, you freeze it up on him. Coach, go out and come back in for us, Coach.
Yeah, but coach, you right. You right. It is a bunch of excuses. It is. Yeah, it's a bunch. It's a generation worth of excuses. It is.
Now, so let me ask you, Coach G. Can we just cut it out? And can I just ask a straight up question?
Well, let me bounce into.
Is this really a administrative issue, or is this the coaches and ADs at the particular schools are just satisfied with getting a paycheck?
A little bit of both.
There's no.
It's a little bit of both.
There's no.
It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both because you should have seen us jumping up and down when Coach Tanner got that gig. We ain't seen no coach come through Fort Worth ISD with his credentials. You know what I'm saying? Right. So tell me what would happen if a coach with Coach Lynn's credentials get a Fort Worth ISD gig like Dunbar or Tech or one of those gigs. Do you know what he would galvanize a city? But guess what? I can bet you my salary, Coach Lynn didn't even apply. Because he already knows. So it's got to be admin also.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's about the quality of coach. Listen, you got Coach Gates out there and Coach Lynn. Let me think of another phenomenal coach that just came through. The coach that just took over in Everman. That's a phenomenal coach.
He's a lifeline Everman kid though, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. But like I said, Everman and Fort Worth are the same. We shopped they had to come to Fort Worth to shop. They had to come to Fort Worth to get food. Ain't no grocery store in Everman. They had to come to Fort Worth. You know what I'm saying? So we know them. We know them. We played them in Pee Wee ball. Forest Hill Chaparrals. We played Everman. We play. You know what I'm saying? We know them. That's why if they were to do the 817, we wouldn't have a problem with it. But we know what went down out there in Crowley. And like I said, you know, it's people in their feelings. And I'm gonna admit, I'm a grown man. I'm in my feelings about it. Because I knew there was a time we couldn't go to Crowley. We couldn't go to White Settlement. Right there on Berry and 35, going to TCU, where Travis Avenue Baptist Church was. Black folks couldn't go past that after dark. We couldn't go over there. You know what I'm saying? So when now it's, of course, like I said, it's building up. My people coming out of the west side, coming out of the southwest side, they running up that tollway going to North Crowley. And I wish them well, I do. But I also, in a way, would love for that to happen in my city. But my city has made it seem like for years, we don't give a damn. Hell, you just saw OD White. They want to go together to the regional basketball together. They want to go a day early because that's a 3.5 hour, 4 hour drive. And nobody stepped up. Now, after doing my research, I did find out, didn't nobody say nothing. Didn't nobody say nothing to the alumni. But the thing about it is, why ain't there an extra bus? You trying to tell me every single bus in Fort Worth ISD is accounted for? Every one of them. Everybody's
crazy.
gone down I-20. Have you seen our bus barn?
Yeah.
Our bus barn is 2 football fields long.
That's what I didn't understand.
And there's not one bus?
That's why I would have asked you. B-Roz, you got anything about everything you've been hearing this past hour, man?
Like, no, I'm in class. I'm just taking lessons, man. This is,
But are you not amazed by just everything? It's just crazy to me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, no, it sounds like when it comes down to it, man, it's really just administrative issue with Fort Worth ISD.
Yeah.
I mean, it just be real.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, Coach G. When I heard that about the OD wide, I was wondering where the hell is the alumni? Like, I don't give a damn where your kid go. You alumni of that school, you should have enough love for your school to come back and raise a little hell, if not raise a little money to get them kids and the fans and the community out there.
They did. Well, that happened. That happened. So let me circle back to what I just told you.
Okay.
When I retired out the military, I carried mail at South Oak Cliff Station, right? South Oak Cliff Station was right there in the strip mall. Guess who carried mail in South Oak Cliff? Graduates of South Oak Cliff.
Yeah.
The difference is in Fort Worth, the folks that I walked with in 1990, 90% of them don't even live in the city no more. When grandmama and them died, they left.
Right.
They live in Keller. They live in Saginaw. They live in Hazlitt. They live in Denton. If you look on my Facebook page, all the folks telling me about their kids, they're my classmates. Denton Ryan, Geyer, Burleson Centennial, all down there. Boswell. You know what I'm saying? Those are all my classmates, but they've been gone from Fort Worth. Been gone. But the difference is South Oak Cliff folk still in South, for the most part, if they don't live in South Oak Cliff, they come back at least once or twice a week. And this is what I know, ain't what I heard.
Ain't no doubt.
Yeah, because even though they live in DeSoto, they come back up the road.
They come back up the road. That's and that's just how it kind of went. What's up, Coach Ward? I see you popped in, man.
What's up, fellas?
I know you've been in the whole time. Just tell me what you kind of thought.
It's a familiar story. I mean, like Will and I think Coach Tyler was saying, the big difference is the continued success of a staple program. They haven't had it in football. You know what I'm saying? It's been runs. I mean, but when you look through Dallas, it's been runs all over. Samuel has had a run, Spruce has had a run, Roosevelt, especially if you go back far enough, it's been a run almost by every school. My senior year at Kimball, it was only 5 rounds. We went to the regional final, the 3rd round, and they did the next year. You know what I'm saying? So but it's a familiar story. I think a lot of it is the process that it took to get to this point in Dallas. It's a lot of steps in that it sounds like Fort Worth is at the beginning of. Like Will said, when you start talking about the collegiate programs and magnets at every school, when you start talking about stipend raises for coaches, district-wide, middle school stipend raises for coaches, district-wide, facility changes. Once SOC got a field, everybody had to get a field. You know what I'm saying? That's just how these types of districts work. SOC got a new gym. Everybody had to get a new gym. So it's a process, and it's been going. It started. You go back, it's almost probably about 20 years. It started, and it's been 3 ADs since. And each AD has put their imprint on it. You know what I'm saying? So of course, the people now, their names, and I think it has worked to this point. Like Coach Criss said, in administration in Dallas, you got a bunch of Dallas folks, and it has worked to get to that point. Hell, this is the first time, to my knowledge, that there is a former football head coach or AD in athletic administration in Dallas. It's 2 of them. That had never happened. You know what I'm saying? So some decisions that are being made differently in regards to football, you got to think. Now you got somebody that's been in that seat before down there, 2 people. You know, somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that had happened before. Brian Barnett, I think, was first, and MT Taiski is there now too. You know, so it's a familiar story. I mean, it seems like, you know, the stories y'all are telling outside of the extreme of, you know, giving up your home locker room because of who the team is you playing.
It wasn't voluntarily though. That's the part that's killing, man. It's like
say Ward, we will be fighting pregame, Ward. I'm telling
you. They ain't having in Dallas. No, hell no. We ain't having that. Hell no.
You better not come walk across the 50 in Dallas. You play. You get on your side of the field, let alone, you know.
Let alone the locker room, coach. Coach, you couldn't even walk, like you say, you couldn't even walk through warm-up. You couldn't even go to the other sideline to get water.
Yeah,
let alone.
You can't.
Let alone. Yeah. Coach, that's like you trying to run around the field, the whole field pregame.
Yeah.
You can't do that, Coach.
Yeah.
All right, listen.
Yeah. That's an extreme story.
Hey, Coach, I gotta ask a question. Coach G, answer this question. The teams who
You know what? You know it's vexing my soul. It's hurting my soul.
All right, Coach G, the team that gave up home field advantage, what were their records?
It couldn't have been winning.
Doc, are we talking about Polly and who was it that Alito played?
Was it wide? It couldn't have been. Was it north side? It's either north side or wide.
Yeah, it was one of them.
Well, it wasn't wide. It couldn't have been wide because that's a Criss over there. That's a Criss over there, and I don't believe that any Criss on earth. That's royalty in Fort Worth. I don't believe that he would do that. It had to be somebody else. It had to be. But no, they. I mean, Wyatt has had. But see, I've seen and I've showed you J Mac, but Coach Buck, man, you know how I know just by what he types how he feel about Fort Worth. So it don't surprise me that he did it.
And I'm gonna be honest, I don't even think he's feel like that because he give a damn about Fort Worth.
He don't.
I feel like he does that because he know he can get away with it.
Yep.
I feel like he know he can talk because I promise you, he ain't talking and acting like that on Dallas. He ain't doing that to Sock.
Hell
no.
You see what I'm saying? So
he respectful. Because he know he can get beat. He ain't gonna do that to nobody he know can beat him.
Because he know Fort Worth ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah, right. That's like, he know ain't no consequences. Ain't no consequences. You won't do that to Carter. You won't do that to Kimball. I'm telling you, man. Dude, it's consequences.
Do you know you remember he was crying when he got put in Fort Worth District? He was crying to get out of it. He cried. He never want. Matter of fact, in his retirement thing he did with John Radigan, he talked about, it was tough us playing Fort Worth ISD. We just didn't get no competition, so we had to play Geyer. We had to play 6A schools, so we wasn't gonna get none in district.
And he really still didn't play no tough out of district games, but I see what he was saying. But he was winning, so it didn't matter, right?
True.
He was winning, so it didn't matter. But Coach, we got your back, Todd.
Yeah, I'm back now, man.
All right, man. Street. Yeah, man. Stay out of bond time, man. Come on back back home.
But hey, it did Coach Todd. Like I said, even though it's funny to me, but it hurt my soul. Just like I know what happened with Grapevine and Alito when they played Southwest. And Coach Todd's assistants came out of the booth at the start of the fourth quarter. They was walking down, shaking hands, kissing babies in the middle of that hurt my soul.
Man, it's tough to be Fort Worth right now, man. I just hope whoever the new superintendent is, I hope they really, if they want it, I ain't gonna lie. I just feel like they need to go over to Dallas, talk to Sylvia them. talk to all the trustees, the ADs, the coaches, the principals, because right now, and I'm a fan of Coach Tanner, but right now they so far behind. Like
they need to hire one of the Dallas people. I'm saying that's been through the process. I mean, if we being
I'm
honest,
trying to tell you.
they
I'm
need
trying
to
to
just
tell
hire
you.
one of them as the head and let them do their thing and start the
But
process.
here's the thing, Coach Ward. Are they gonna even apply?
That's the question.
I'm gonna tell y'all something else too. That I think when you in the inner city, your shit got to be original. It can't be a copy or nothing. It got to be some original shit to it. And the stakeholder, the shit got to be personal to them.
Yeah.
If it's shit just about a paycheck, you ain't gonna be shit. I mean, you may
Right.
have a good run here and there, but it ain't gonna. You ain't gonna inflict change the way you want change to be inflicted. So like when I see a lot of shit, I see a lot of shit just carbon copied out some shit Sock did or we did. I don't see no originality with nobody come out with some original shit that we didn't do.
Right.
And Coach Todd, and they actually saying it. They saying they copying you. That's what killed me.
Yeah.
But
it's a copycat world.
But here's the thing, Coach. When it's only ever been one Kobe, and what I mean by that is when we was hooping growing up and we watched a Bulls game, everybody left the house, went outside, and tried to emulate whatever MJ was doing, right? And they even called Harold Miner Baby Jordan. But there's a thing called mentality that you can't copy, right?
Yeah.
Like that's different. Like you can copy what you see on surface because that's just something that we put out in the public. But when you go by, why am I doing this? Why am I making this decision? What am I going to have to sacrifice to get to this? How much, am I willing to go out to these games and you not? Where am I willing to be that you not?
But
What's?
Hey
Go
Will,
ahead, Coach.
hey, this too though, Will. Like people don't understand. This state championship class that just left came to us when we was in the fucking Sam's building. So facilities, yeah. But that the work ethic wasn't changed with facilities. The shit was established long before a fucking weight room and a new school and all that shit. Like these kids are working out in a patch of grass and on cement when other cats would have been trying to find a new job and leave, and that's the difference.
And still going third and fourth round. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, like we playing the Lido and we practicing out of goddamn Sam's building, Willow. In the third round, and they wonder why we want to stay there till midnight to play. Hey, we don't know when we're gonna see these kids again.
I was at that game. You know what I'm saying? And that's
too.
what I'm saying. But those type of again, it goes back to everybody talk about the Mamba mentality, but how many people want to live the Mamba mentality? You want the Mamba mentality results, or are you willing to put in the Mamba mentality work? Those are two entirely different things. And here's the crazy part about it, which I don't think people understand. Yes, we're talking about results, but the results are just actions of this. It's a result of this. Championships are a result of doing X, Y, and Z. And it's over time. It's willing to, or you willing to do what the next man not willing to do. Period. You know what I'm saying? You don't know the conversations that Tom may have to have with kids about, leaving or saying, for an example, hey man, I love you so much, but this ain't the place for you. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to a person saying, oh shoot, I got some talent. Yeah, I'm gonna get that talent, but that ain't what's best for your team, bro. You see what I'm saying? Are you willing to make those decisions?
And Willow, another thing, and Ward can tell you this. All the shit we doing now was considered ghetto.
Yeah.
Like this shit was considered ghetto. Like it was like that ain't how you act as a coach. They would say like people getting on me for being on social media.
Mm-hmm.
But now everybody on social media.
Yeah, you caught a lot of flack for being vocal.
But that's the thing, Todd. The first one through the door gets the bloodiest. But I can't do that, what you're doing, until I have the results that you have. You can do that because you have made history. You could do that because you're the first. I tell kids, like I was talking to the kid at Miles. I said, man, I hate when kids do this, or they stick their palms out, because that just it drives me crazy. But then I say, hey, there's only 3 people who could do this. Jesus, right? Nick Saban, you know what I'm saying? Because he always like this, and MJ. Them the only 3 people who could do that. You know what I'm saying? Because when you talk about greatness, that's what we're talking about. If you don't have results behind what you're doing and why you're doing it, it means nothing, man. Like that's why I was telling you, when we talk about Carter, we talk about Sock, it's the blackness now in America, the blackness now amongst black coaches in the state of Texas is open, and it is welcome, and it is wanted. And so the things that come with it, you're the only one that could talk like that because you're the only one that have had that success. A lot of other coaches will still be frowned upon.
We was talking about like this before we had success.
Okay, but Todd, you're okay. Let me. How can I say this? You're not everybody else.
But this shit was personal.
But you're not everybody else.
That's true. But what I'm saying,
as a person, who you are as a person,
this shit was personal though. That's what I'm talking about. When you're gonna inflict change, this shit got to be personal. Like we all could have left. We all could have been that left sock, like, and been gone. This shit was personal.
And I think that's the question that I have. We turn it back around to what the show about Fort Worth is. There's nobody other than probably Coach Anderson at Eastern Hills that can really take it personal. We could say Criss at ODY, but is it really?
Well,
but is it personal?
Dig a little deeper though. Like dig a little deeper though. Like this what I want y'all to realize.
Yeah.
I don't think we realize, like, people be talking shit about Dallas and all this, that, and other. Like, we done made the other motherfucking school districts what they are. Let's not forget this shit. Like, a lot of the other school districts is made because of Dallas cats. Like, Langston won't win no basketball championship till a Dallas motherfucker went over there. Langston ain't never go to state of football until a Dallas motherfucker went over there.
Yeah.
Sam revived Duncanville.
Right.
Like, look at Humphrey and Langston with track. Like, go research all these Dallas people. The Oak Cliff Faith family. Like, I think people like Richard Bacon. Like Richard Bacon from Dallas.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think people understand. Like, Dallas people, like, really done made some shit shake. And that's why I be laughing when the suburb people be talking about Dallas ain't good enough, but we steady the one. I ain't talking about the kids. I'm talking about the fucking grown-ups.
The ones that
grown-ups making y'all shit roll.
Yeah.
Leadership. Yeah.
Because they bringing that Dallas ass shit.
That's the only reason why you and you probably could even take it. You could probably take it to every suburb of Dallas. Pretty much has some kind of Dallas ties.
Right.
Exactly.
If it ain't the coach or whatever, it's damn sure the kids
and the parents.
Yeah.
Right.
It's definitely the parents.
Like even if you go back, like what black coaches was going to a college taking D1 jobs before Bruce Chambers did? Like now look, you got Emmett, you got multitude of other people doing this shit now. Why? That's some Dallas shit.
Yeah.
Motherfucker need an inroad. Graham was the fucking coach at Kimball, and he was goddamn college coach.
And then Tubbs did the same.
And then Tubbs backdoored that. Richard Bacon went to college coaching. We talking about some Dallas ass shit.
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about, like, if this shit ain't personal, and what I'm gonna say is, if the Fort Worth people ain't happy about where Fort Worth's at, then when the fuck they gonna stand up?
Right.
See that part. See, I'm with you on that, man. Coach and Ward, you know this, and Coach G, everybody on here know this. If it means something to you, Like you, like Philip, like you don't have to be for Fort Worth for you to change Fort Worth. It's just whatever your job is has to mean something to you. It has to be personal to want to win, to want to change mindsets, to want to change a culture. It has to be intentional. You know what I mean? And it has to go against whatever the norm is, because the norm doesn't work.
And then also, whoever it is, if you ain't from Fort Worth, you got to be plugged in with the goddamn cars associated of Fort Worth.
Exactly.
Like you got to know who can touch somebody in every goddamn neighborhood. Like who can go to Stop 6, who can go here, who can go there. Like you got to have people that ever connected in every goddamn area.
Well, now in 2023, you got somebody from every one of those neighborhoods in your neighborhood. So it can be done.
Oh,
it just gonna take the right guy.
It's gonna take that.
It's like Todd saying though. Yeah. You know, when he's saying that stuff, and I think back 6-7 years ago, we wasn't going to little league fields to get kids. We was going to little league fields to support. Like it's different when it's personal. You're not showing up. You're not only talking to people when you're trying to get kids. You know, I think the biggest lie that we done sold people now is people really feel like they gotta get out in public. J-Mac, you done said it many times. People gotta see your face. They gotta see your face.
Yeah.
We done lied. They ain't gotta see your face. Go in. Put kids in school. Well, show up in person. You ain't gotta get on, like, let's keep it 100. You ain't gotta get on the dub. Go in. J-Mac will get you on here. He'll blow you up. But everybody feel like as soon as they get a job, they got to start building a brand. What builds brand is something to sell, not talking, not cute stuff. You that just makes your losses louder. So everybody is trying to jump in this trend because it's like a competition. Well, because they sing, I got to be seen. Well, because they always talking, I got to talk. And that's not necessarily true because, again, like Todd said, before we won anything, we was like this. We was on Facebook arguing with your mama in 2017, 2018. We've never cared about that because we see ourselves like regular Joes. My job don't define who I am as a person. I ain't got a job. I'm not a coach, so I got to behave this way. No, Kyle Ward is going to be Kyle Ward. And he always been Kyle Ward. Todd is the same way. The cats on our staff, that's how it is. And the young cats on the pups on the staff being raised that way. So we not finna fit into some mode. We're gonna be who we always been. Try our best to be respectful. Apologize when we ain't. that's all we can.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I gotta ask y'all this. Like I said, we all went through a few things. I don't know. I know Coach G, we talk about it all the time, but I just don't see a solution for Fort Worth. Like I just told Coach Tanner, I wish him the best. We ain't got no money, but we'll come out and shake hands and kiss babies. and if few of the player moms look cute, like they get a kiss too.
They like that on the west side, bro.
Other than that, that's all we could do. But is he the only hope though, Coach G? If for Fort Worth ISD, because I'm gonna be honest.
Eastern Hills, they keeping a lot of those kids because they don't want to go. Those kids, their only option is Birdville, which again, that's another bird we don't want to go to, but it's a bunch of us there, and they don't want to go to Lamar. So, and Kennedale is pretty much sick of us. So, the Eastern Hills, and they built up Eastern Hills. They built it up a lot. So, one thing I want to point back to what Coach Ward said 7 years ago, y'all were doing. Now let's talk about Fort Worth ISD. We talking 27 years. We talking 30. We talking 30. This is a 30-year disease that we trying to get rid of. You know, this is, and again, I'll go back to, I walked the stage at Daniel Meyer Coliseum in 1990. 90% of the folks that I rode with, I had a class of 586 people in my class. They don't live in Fort Worth no more. It's hard to ask them folks to care when they don't. dude, hey, they out there living it big out there in Alito. Boy, let me tell you something. They showing out in North Crowley. They showing out in Hazlitt Eaton in Northwest. They wearing them colors proudly at the Pee Wee football games. Which again, it's and like you said, it's hard for me to put my finger on it because I got a baby boy playing for Pac Prime right now.
Hold
right now.
Hold that thought, because I got the perfect coach who I want your baby boy to go play for.
Hey, you want me to go get him? I'll tell you who he want to play for.
Just hold tight,
he'll tell you.
Let me give my Steve Harvey introduction. You know what I'm saying? I gotta bring you in like Steve Harvey. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get a Steve Harvey invitation. You know, cause this is I ain't gonna lie. Y'all ain't never seen Coach Will blush. You finna see him, Coach.
Yeah, you know it's
you finna see Willow blush right now. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Hey, but just like last week when we kind of said something that sparked Coach Paul. Well, this week we got the face of the 817. I don't care what y'all say. The face of the 817. The face of the 817. The face of fucking town. You heard me.
Oh, city, baby.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
City, baby.
Oh, man, come on now, man. What's going on, y'all?
What's going on, Coach? Man, hey, Coach. Hey, we get giddy anytime we get Coach Gates in the building. What's happening, Coach?
Man.
What brought you out? Let's go ahead. Let's go and get to it. What brought you out, Coach?
Man, I mean, my phone ring, you know what I'm saying? And I get a call that said, man, there's some things being said on there. You might wanna tune in. And so I tuned in and I caught pretty much the end of the conversation between Coach Criss and PT as they were exiting the podcast. And I you know, with Coach Criss, a lot of things of what he was saying, you know, I agree with a lot of what Coach Criss was talking about earlier in the show. For me, you know, the mindset, I was over on the, you know, at Cedar Hill for 5 years, coming over to Fort Worth. You know, one thing he talked about was the mindset. And that's one of the things that, you know, we constantly talk about on our side with our kids, is just the mindset of trying to get our kids to understand what it is to be not only a high school, you know, athlete, but also to make sure they're taking care of their business in the classroom. So when these opportunities come, that they can take them. So he was talking a lot about the parents as well, you know, and so I'll be honest, for me, my parents have been awesome since I've been here. I work with a great group of parents who advocate for their kids, and our community has, you know, in a short amount of time, has kind of galvanized and ran around our program. And so I'm just here to represent that and just to throw some things out there. 91 Hewlett Street, 76123. We are in Fort Worth. We're not Crowley, but we are in Fort Worth. So just want to make sure everybody know that too.
And that's the part that, you know, always brought me to this conversation, Coach. Because if you remember when we first met you at that practice, we was on board with you. So when you said you want, and you came on the show and you like, we 817, we want, when you talk about Fort Worth, but if you hear about the greatness of Fort Worth, North Crowley is that conversation. And in 2022, 2023, when it comes to football, that's what it is. And I had no problem with it.
I'll say this because a lot of times things get taken out of context, and I understand, like, you got Coach Todd on here, you got Coach Ward on here. You know what they've done, you know, is what everybody is trying to be like. You want to be able, when they say the Mecca, everybody understands who they're talking about when they say the Mecca. You know, Duncanville talks about the city of champions. They talk about lock the gates. When you hear those things, it rings a bell. And so for us, that's what Goon City, you know, is. And with that, you know what I'm saying, all of our kids, I heard Coach G say earlier, a lot of the people that he went to school with, you know, all of those kids are in different places. They're not in Fort Worth ISD. And so I do have a lot of kids at North Crowley that are from, you know, Dunbar, ODY, you know, a lot of the schools just right down the street from me and that's true. But a lot of those people that went to school my age, they all left. They got degrees. They came back, and now they're living out in those areas now because they can afford it, and so they want better for their kids. Not that they can't get that in Fort Worth ISD, but the reality is that when our parents right now, their kids are their most precious commodities, and they want what's best for them. And so they're going to find what they feel is best for their kids. And so I definitely in year one was a beneficiary of that. But again, I'll say this too. That was just 1 year. You know what I'm saying? That's just 1 year. I tell my kids every day, we ain't going to get fed off of what we did last year. Everybody coming for us, and we know that. So now we have to show people that we want a one-hit wonder.
And a lot of people think, you are that one-hit wonder. I'll just be honest. I fight your battle all the time, Coach. I'm going to tell you that right now, because, I am a very good advocate. So I fight this battle all the time when people say, no, see, that no Crowley really. Let's see what they do. I'm like, I'm telling you, dog, they going to be. I'm telling you because I've been there. Like, once I go somewhere and I see how they run it, I see how the coaches are, I see how the program is, I'm confident when I say stuff. I'm confident when I say, no, they gonna be good. That ain't no one-hit wonder. They ain't just benefit. Yeah, you built on what somebody else built on, but let's just be honest. The previous regime didn't go that far. So we ain't gonna.
I was just about to say, Coach Gates.
We ain't gonna dance around.
I hear what you're saying, but listen, I live in the 817. North Crowley been sleep. You woke that bad boy up. I don't believe for a second that you gonna be around. Your name gonna ring out, and you gonna be just fine. They've been knocking, but you here now.
Coach, let me tell you something, man. I appreciate that, but the reality is that Coach Allen, he was the one who laid the foundation, because our kids have been leaving and going to Alito and going to Burleson and going everywhere else. And what he did was he was able to keep those kids there. Nobody was able to do that. Everybody, like when I got there, I didn't have to worry about going to go get all of my kids. I did have to get some back, but these are kids that live in my attendance zone. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like, every coach. Yeah, every coach did.
We had to go get them back. And the ones that we got back are our kids. And now it's not just about keeping our kids. It's about building our program and making our program the lighthouse of Fort Worth. And that's my goal. That's what everybody's goal should be at their school, is to make their school the best school in that area. And if we all do that, now it's enough talent that everybody over there can shine. Everybody, dog. Everybody. So that's why I was a little upset with what PT said, because what he said wasn't true. He said he called a couple of coaches and he cussed them out. Our conversation was totally different. On the phone. So don't stunt. You know what I'm saying? I want that program to be good. You know what I'm saying? Because it's our kids, dog, and it's our time. You know what I'm saying? Especially as Black coaches, they're allowing us to get these jobs now. So every one of us that get a job, now I want us all to succeed. I don't want to play us. I don't even want to play us.
Right. Nope. It's a bigger battle, and like I say, I feel like DFW is like leading the country in successful Black head coaches as a whole. Like. Right. Now, Will done traveled everywhere. He probably could tell you, but I don't know. I don't know if it's this many Black head coaches having success anywhere else.
And I'm telling you something else too. All of us ain't in the same boat neither. Like it is like everybody that Black ain't all for all the Black people.
You're right.
Like some people like say that shit for fun and games and shit, but be the main one talking about us Dallas coaches. And got shit to say like what we doing ain't ethical or ain't the right way to do shit or just how we act. So, I don't go for all that every Black man is all together shit. Nah, we separate them motherfuckers too. We gonna be real with it.
You right.
Yeah, well, we know Coach Todd 2 times is the realest as they get.
Nah, I just tell my own truth. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I like 2 times. That's why I hope everybody is able to be themselves and be successful, because if you're able to be successful as yourself, it enables everybody else to do it.
It's always gonna be Martin and Malcolm though, and in between. it's always gonna be that way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They was looking at Malcolm like he was a radical, and I'm talking about Malcolm now. I mean, Martin now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that exists, and people speak that behind closed doors. You know, it ain't no secret.
But it's gonna happen. It's just like I was telling when I talked to Coach Mays. You know, once you reach a level, man, I'm sorry, you either gonna go out as a hero or you gonna see yourself stick around and be the villain. That's just how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Because let's just be honest.
You know the saying, go out as the saying, go out as a hero or go out on your shield.
Yeah, that's how it's gonna go. You gonna go out as a hero or you gonna stay long enough to see yourself become the villain. Like now all of a sudden, everybody that praise you is gonna be against you. You know, so that's just how it is. But I got one question for you, Coach Gates. I got one question. How do you like? I love what you're doing. I'll say that a million times with it. But how do you handle the pushback, like my man Coach G, the original Fort Worth guys that? Cause like I say, when hey man, my brother played for the 88 Carter team when they went to state. He was there 87, 86. I was around when DeSoto, when they played Carter, they was calling us the N-words, right? Like right there. And we talking about down the street, DeSoto. But somehow we was able to get over all that and integrate everything. So how do you navigate the pushback from like the original 817 guys, the original Fort Worth guys that don't quite really want to, you know, go with it? Do you think that's maybe because you're not like, you know, you from China, as we know? Is that you think that's because you're not a Fort Worth person? Or
man, I don't speak on anybody else, man. Like, there are going to be people that's going to be with you. There are going to be people that are going to be against you. There are going to be people that are in the middle. You know what I'm saying? And so for us, man, I never really allow that to be the driving focus of where we're going as a program. Right. Regardless of how you feel about me or regardless of how you feel about what we're building, the reality is that our kids are 817. They're from Fort Worth. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want for my kids to be able to have the opportunity and the ability to go out and showcase what they can do. And if we were the one to come up there and we play at Cowboy Stadium, I guarantee you those same people that was talking about us is going to be there supporting us. You know what I'm saying? Because let's be honest, some of them probably they damn family anyways. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really hear the outside noise like that. You know what I'm saying? And let that get to me. I always bring it back this. I ask myself this: what's in the best interest of our kids? And I always keep that forefront. Whatever that is, that's what I'm riding with. And so people can say what they want to. They can be upset. They can be with us. You know what I'm saying? The reality is we're going to go do what we do. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to still say 817.
And you should. Like you say, that's a Fort Worth address. So you're not lying, regardless. No matter what people want to feel, you ain't lying.
And I'll tell you this, you know, you come out there, you know what I'm saying? 10 years ago, people talking about, well, 10 years ago, it looked like this. It's us now. You know what I'm saying? It's Black excellence, you know, on the main stage. Our superintendent, to our CFO, you know, to our athletic director, to both head coaches, you know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? We got to make sure that we do what's right, that we take this opportunity and we push it forward. Because again, on this side of the Metroplex, whether you want to say Fort Worth ISD or you saying North Crowley or whoever, you know, somebody got to shed the light, you know. And so right now, shit, I feel like that's us.
As well. And I got one more question, Coach. How would you feel if they told you y'all play as a Lido and they said y'all had to get in the visitors locker room?
Nah, that ain't riding, dog. That ain't riding. You know what I'm saying? That ain't riding. Our kids don't even play like that.
That's what I was saying. That's what me and Will was saying. Like,
hey,
we
fighting, Coach. We fighting, and I don't condone fights, and I just test it. But if that we fighting, Coach. We fighting. Right?
Maybe
First of all, me and
administration.
administration. Yeah, Coach Todd. If your administration and Coach Mays and Sylvia and Scotty told you had to go get dressed under the bleachers at Sprague playing the Lido, what you gonna do?
I mean, you're right, but you talking about somebody with a different standard that they sell. Some people leading the programs ain't got their standard. Yeah. So they gonna do what they told. They were told you don't never go against your supervisors.
You right, Todd. There's an old saying my homeboy Cole Harris always say, some people run their house and some people run around their house. So it all depends on which one you are.
Hey, who you talking about? Thomas Harris?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Marcus Harris.
Oh, okay.
The Marcus.
So Coach Todd and Coach Gates, while I got y'all on the phone, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out here. I know in 2024, some people been looking for some games, and I would like to see that North Crowley Sock game, week 0.
I'm all for it, man.
With some brand new Willow uniforms.
To be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
To be honest, you know what I'm saying? I just had this conversation yesterday with a good friend of mine that coached over there on the other side. Like for us, this year, we don't get a chance to see anybody that look like us unless we go over there and play that. So we were the most athletic team every week on the field. I never got a chance to see my kids line up versus somebody that looked like us, that matches us from an athletic standpoint. And at some point in time, we're going to have to see that. And we're going to need that in order to get to the next level. And so to play a team like that, like what y'all did this year, Coach Todd, with the schedule that they played, they weren't looking at it, going out of that thing 3-0. They knew they had to get some games on their schedule where it was going to push their kids and prepare them for down the road. You know what I'm saying? And that I know that's what we're going to have to do as well.
Right. But I think that scrimmage with Horn was pretty close athletically.
Yeah, it's a scrimmage though. You know what I'm saying? It's a scrimmage. Everybody, you ask them, they're gonna tell you they won. You're gonna ask us, they're gonna tell us, we're gonna say we won.
I ain't gotta ask nobody. I was there, coach. Can't nobody tell me.
But J-Mac, though, that's the same as when my man from Melito was talking about he didn't want to play in the Fourth Worth District. Like you don't. Like no offense to Sock, their district is not gonna prepare them for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 in the playoffs. Week 1 and week 2, week 3 definitely prepares them for week 1, week 2, week 3 in the playoffs. And I think that's where you get into that situation is, like Coach Gates saying, I don't know what I have when I'm the most athletic team and the best coach team on the field. It's not until I see equal-minded team with equal-minded talent that I see the mentality of my kids. Because now I'm going to be put in more stressful situations. But my athletic ability ain't going to win this. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what grows championship team.
Come here.
But what's changed, what has changed, and it's still not across the board, is it used to be you played and the level of execution is what you didn't get to see if you played people that look like yourself. Now there are some teams that look like us, North Crowley Sock, that execute at a high level, but it still ain't okay. Just because you know what I'm saying, playing somebody that look like that, everybody ain't gonna give you that level of execution. You know what I mean? So it's a lot harder than I think a lot of people think. I know they both understand that, but people will be like, go schedule this team, go schedule that team, where everybody ain't gonna execute at a high level. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's some athletic teams that's gonna sign a lot of kids that don't necessarily execute like that, and you need to see that execution also.
Yeah, you need to see that good coaching with that good athletic ability. And when you see
that,
that's when you truly realize, what you got.
I see Coach G.
Yeah, it's his bad time. This the little Pac Prime 9U quarterback lefty doing his thing. So I'm going to ask. I ain't said nothing to him. Say what?
Where you going? He
could ask him now. He could ask him.
Hey, when you go to high school, where you want to go to high school?
South Oak Cliff.
Oh, damn. Ooh, don't say that too loud, man.
It's too late.
So we know where you live.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. E. Holly might have something to say about that because she thinks she got the quarterback locked up for that class.
Hey, but Coach G, this is what I want you to tell them 4 word people. They got to stand up.
Yes, they do.
Like nobody want to hear nothing about no goddamn shit when Robert Hughes and them was there and all this old ass shit. Stand up, or them kids supposed to go wherever the hell they supposed to go. If you can't get them a reason to stay there.
That's right.
Well, yeah, and it's hard,
Hey, that
and
ain't
like
no
you
different in
said,
the suburbs, because like he said, Coach Allen went through the same battle at North Crowley. So I mean,
Right.
that ain't inner city, but he couldn't keep his kid. You know, they hadn't kept their kids either. I mean, kids gonna go where it's right, where it's done right.
That's
Yeah, but they parents feel comfortable.
I feel parents and kids, like Coach said, they go where the relationship is and where they feel comfortable.
And where their kids can get a scholarship.
And the program that's set up. This is the problem I tell, like when I hear parents, or not even parents, just people in general, when they talk about stealing kids. I just don't believe in it. I'm just telling you right now. I don't believe in such thing as stealing somebody else's kid. Because
it do happen.
I don't believe it, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah, me neither, Coach. I don't believe
Because if you build something,
that's right.
If you build something the right way, you ain't gotta steal nothing, Jack. They coming.
I'm gonna tell you something my daddy told me when I was young. If somebody can take your woman, she wasn't never your woman.
That's
right.
Right.
Apology right there, baby.
Facts. They never was. They went to that school looking for a better deal.
That's all I'm saying. If a coach can walk up to your junior high game and all the parents in the stands quit looking at the game to go talk to the coach that just walked in, don't blame the coach.
Hey, well, wow. Did you see that post then, J Mac?
Hey, man,
that lady complaining about all the school districts around Fort Worth are allowed to come to 7th and 8th grade track meets recruiting kids.
Hey,
did you see that post? You talking like you saw it.
But like I was just telling you about the Pee Wee games. We go to Pee Wee game. It's on the south side. You come over here to Dallas, south side of Dallas. Damn near every coach gonna be at a Pee Wee game.
Bro, that's where we play. My son done shook Coach Todd hand. That's how we playing DeSoto every weekend. So
he ain't there telling your son to come to soccer. He there looking at some football.
Yeah, I just be out there chilling.
No.
But I'm just saying,
it's more than that.
You got to make yourself. These coaches that they think, and this is why I would tell you about Fort Worth that I didn't want to say it because I don't know how it come off. But I just feel that Fort Worth coaches and administrators have been extremely lazy.
Lazy, coach. Lazy.
They have been extremely lazy. And they have just been extremely comfortable with getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
When y'all tell me that the pinnacle of Fort Worth ISD is a regional final,
yeah,
and an aerial final,
yeah,
regional final.
Ain't nobody hungry over there, bro.
And
ain't
maybe,
nobody hungry.
And maybe once in that school's history. That's the thing,
right?
Yeah,
like I went to Kimball. We went to the regional final twice under Daryl Jordan, and my perspective is we're very good in football because that's twice in 50 years. That's not.
But you know what? Y'all running shit in Fort Worth with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
that's what I'm saying too, J Mac. Is like if you look at the success of North Crowley, right, and you look at Courtney Allen from Dallas, right, and then you look at Coach Gates coming from the DFW area, right. You look at people who are outside of Fort Worth that's going to have to come in and institute change, right? It's like if you look at an HBCU and you wonder why HBCUs are what they are, because 9 times out of 10, most people who work at HBCUs graduated from that same HBCU and they got hired and has been working in that same job. They've never left and went to go see how the world works. It's a different world out there. So you go and you learn and you take different things from different people from different things. And when you bring it in, you have your own chance. And now you're starting to see the success of it. Your mindset is not the same as a cat that's been stuck in that job forever.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference. You see things differently than the way they do. Your lenses don't operate the same. So when you got a guy like Coach Gates who comes in with a fresh attitude, fresh ideas, you know what I'm saying, and who did more than anything that I don't think people really understood is he galvanized the community.
Yeah.
And once you
Even
get a
more.
community galvanized, right?
Even more.
And you get correct. Well,
Yeah.
I would say took it to another level, right?
Well, see, that's
I'm not saying what Courtney, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he built
that's what I'm
off
saying. I'm
what
not
was already
pissing on
there.
Coach Allen. I'm saying Coach Gates came in and
built,
he
but
didn't just ride the wave. He came in and took it up.
As he should have, right? That's the mark of a great coach. Right. So what I'm saying is the same thing you're saying is when he took it to another level, it's because he had a different perspective than Coach Allen had. But Coach Allen had a different perspective that allowed kids to see that, oh, we can be successful in North Crowley. We can have some success here. And when Coach Gates come in and do some of the same things and then add his spice to it, because he liked to cook, he liked to grill. We ain't forgot about dinner either, Coach.
And he gonna run around yelling all day.
Yeah,
that's
you know what I'm saying?
That's his trademark. He gonna yell. I get a double story. So when I met Coach Gates, he was yelling at DBs at 707, and I started messing with him about it. We started arguing.
We did.
I'm like, damn, well, you gonna yell the whole day?
Yeah,
I'm gonna yell all day. That's what I do.
One of the most, I'm telling you, one of the most impressive practices I've been to was the North Crowley. And that was my first time ever seeing Coach Gates. I ain't never saw him at Cedar Hill. But when we went and saw him at North Crowley.
Like, saying
break it up a little bit.
Being in this seat is a collection of a lot of people. Me being in this seat is a collection of a lot of people that believed in me and put me on when I got to North Crowley. You know what I'm saying? Coach Criss was one of those people. Coach Gilbert was one of those people. Coach Allen is one of those people. People don't realize how close Coach Allen and I are. You know what I'm saying? And so I had an insight coming into the program that a lot of people don't get whenever they get there. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that happened was Coach Allen Wilson, you know, one of the best, you know, arguably best, you know, black head coach, you know, in the state of Texas, you know, up until we get, you know, Sock and Duncanville, you know, but he's won his fair share. He was the intern at North Crowley. And so he had a relationship with the superintendent. He was able to peel back some layers of things that should have been taken care of years ago. And that's what we're talking about is like resources. Like a lot of times the people making the decisions don't know what's happening on a day-to-day basis because it's not getting to them. So how can they affect change when they don't even know what's going on? They think everything is good. You know what I'm saying? But Courtney, when he was there are a lot of things that he dealt with just because he chose not to say anything. And he didn't want to put something else on superintendent's plate, you know. But when I got there, all those things were, we need to fix this, we need to fix this, we need to change this. Courtney had 14 coaches. You know, when I got there, they gave me 3 more coaches. I got a total of 17 coaches. You know how much help 3 coaches are? You know what I'm saying? You know how much more efficient we are with 3 more coaches? We're going to be organized. We're filming everything. Everything is planned to the T. And it works efficiently because of the guys that I got. So it ain't necessarily just what I did. I always give credit to my coaches, and I always give credit to our kids. Without them, none of this, we ain't even talking about this. So
right,
I'm blessed and I'm fortunate. But again, like I said, Coach Gates been a head coach for 1 year. My record 12-1. If I'm 1-9 next year, I ain't even on the dub. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
so
you always on the dub. Now you might not want to come on the dub, but you're always on the dub.
My focus is pushing this thing and really building something year after year to always be in the conversation.
Yeah, we don't want to. We ain't gonna start that, Coach. You always welcome. Now you might not want to come on, but you're always welcome. Now, but no, I get what you're saying, Coach, and that's the humble right way to be. But you know, let's just be honest. You know, head coaches take the blame, and head coaches should get the credit. That's just the way I roll with it. You know what I'm saying? And no doubt about it, you set the standard. Whether you know, there are no excuses. If you don't go past what you did this year, people gonna be looking. We know that. That's the standard that you set. That's the way it go. And I know Coach Ward, Coach Todd know that. When they beat Alito, they knew it wasn't nowhere to go but to win state after that.
Absolutely.
Because
I'm telling you something about the resources too. Like, because like I ain't never talked to the superintendent until after we won her state. You know what I'm saying? You know,
what is your superintendent that said that hell what no Dallas team go ever win state?
but people don't know. Like
I said something about that in the meeting though. Like I don't give a damn. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna speak my mind. But I think the greatest resource we had, and that's what I'm saying, everybody got different resources. Resources ain't always a weight room, resources ain't a turf field. Like, it's a bunch of different stuff. Like, our resources was the entire collection of our staff. I think was a resource because you can learn something from everybody, and you can learn the right way to do something, or you can learn, this ain't the best way to do something. And I think that's what we did at SOC was everybody got their niche, and everybody's niche ain't the same. But when everybody do their part, that shit connect like Voltron. And that's why you see, like, you don't see, like, you see Water here every week. Some head coaches will be despised. They would look at it like, somebody, he try to get his face out there more than the head coach. Or you see Coach Spencer on her, I don't be tripping about none of that shit. And Ward can tell you, we ain't never had no conversation like, man, you need to get off the goddamn dub and all this shit. I don't give a damn about that shit. All I need my coaches to do is the job they've been doing, and let's just do it again and keep getting a little bit better by experience, and we gonna be fine. But a lot of people don't understand the grind them guys put in. Like I'm talking about on a daily basis. I'm talking about back when it had shit. Like when we ain't had shit, we ain't had nothing. And you can go ask them and ask
I had rats and roaches.
Every time I go downtown, they always ask me, they say out of all the head coaches in Dallas, you the one that asked us for the least. Think about that shit. Because a lot of people out here probably be thinking, Todd go down there and beat on the table and just get what the hell he want. Ward to tell you, I'm a go-getter. Like, I don't never believe in the welfare system for nobody to do shit for me. Like, we going to go out and get it like we live. And we going to find a way. And I think all that is just in our mindset because this shit personal. Like, this shit was personal. To her, all my life, because my granddaddy fired Norman Jett, and that was the downfall of SOC football, this shit was personal. See, people don't know that story. But that shit was personal. My thing when I went to SOC was I want to exercise a demon. That some other people feel a demon, and now we gonna make that shit a celebration. Like all this shit was personal. Like Ward, like I can tell you, Ward, Spencer and them, Coach Walker went to St. Houston, that motherfucker back in SOC.
Yep.
Think of that shit. Like, ask Ward, how many coaches have left us that I ain't never burned no bridge with that have came back with open arms? Coach Medice used to be the offensive coordinator at SOC long time ago. He on the staff coaching the receivers now. So that's what I'm telling you, ain't no ego shit. I got 3 coaches on offense that have called the fucking game in the state championship game. Find me any color staff that can say they got 3 offensive coaches on one staff that have called the game in the state championship game. And out of them 3 coaches, they 2-1.
Yeah.
Like, can't nobody else say that shit. But it can't be about no ego shit.
That's right.
That shit gotta be about what we gonna do to win. We win, we all win.
I think that's the biggest misconception about you too.
But that approach, Todd, too, you know what I'm saying? That approach, that's why I say you said no excuses. People don't realize, and I always watch, even when I was assistant coach, your team takes on the personality of the head coach. You know what I'm saying? Your team is going to take on that personality because you set the tone. And when you set the tone that way, that's how your kids react and that's how they respond. And you can see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember I watch y'all talk about your first state championship when y'all was going all over the state and y'all was talking. A lot of people always want to say they win because they got kids. And we always have to fight that stigma, especially in our community. You know what I'm saying? When we get an opportunity to coach kids that look like us, we win because we got kids. And I remember he talking about no ego. Coach Ty got up and he spoke at DFW Clinic for maybe 10 minutes. And Coach Spencer got up there and he pulled up his presentation and he talked about the linebackers, the years of experience they had, what they looked like in the spring, what they looked like during the season, and how they continued to get better. That's coaching. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about no ego, that has to be something that's set from the top. And when everybody is on the same page, rowing in the same direction, man, you achieve greater. You can multiply what you do exponentially when everybody buys into the vision. One of my favorite authors is John Maxwell, and he always say this. He says that people often follow the leader before they follow the vision. If Ty walked in that room right now and he just said something off the wall, his guys gonna buy into it because they believe in him. And that's a quality that a lot of guys don't have. They just think it's about the X's and O's. You know what I'm saying? And so when you get in the games when it matters, those teams don't win.
And to add to that, Gates, the thing I can say about Todd is Todd walk in the room and say something off the wall. It's an environment where anybody on the staff can question it. Anybody can say why, and he gonna explain it. And if it's a disagreement, it's gonna be a big debate. Everybody understands and respects that he got the final say. But it's a round table. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? It's not a dictatorship. That people are allowed to have accountability and ownership in whatever it is that, like Coach Todd said, whatever it is that they do. You know what I'm saying? And it's easy to work with and for people that are like that. It's easy because that's not, because y'all know in this profession that's not common. Mm-hmm. No egos is not a common thing. You know, some of our favorite coaches and people we watch, that ain't how it exists. It's my way or the highway, and if you leave, I'm gonna bash you and I'm gonna kick you off huddle, and I want your gear, or I'm gonna tell my assistants to stop covering for you, or I'm gonna fire them too. That's happening in the profession, and it don't matter the skin color. You know what I'm saying? Yep. It don't matter. So it's
because I give anybody the same evaluation when they fill out for a job, whether they're a good coach or a bad coach. Because I want them to have the opportunity, and I don't want them to ever feel like Coach Todd ever tried to hold me back or he ain't vouch for me, or, you know, like, man, I'm going to do whatever it takes because I want you to be happy.
And I think that's the biggest misconception, because most people probably think just listen to you on social media and listening to you, they probably would think that when we call you Big Meats, that you really got like some big ego. But I guess if they really knew Big Meats really didn't have a big ego. He believed in sharing it and keeping everybody going. So it's a fairly good comparison, I believe, because you carry a big personality, not a big ego. And I think people get that confused. They get personality confused with ego. And but I hope you can spread that to Fort Worth, man, because like I say, we're gonna get ready. I know Coach G gotta go. We're gonna head out. But I just said, I do want to know, Coach G, you got Coach here. I need you to help me break down this wall, because we're gonna get behind whichever. Because I believe Coach Lynn got his say over there at Crowley. I really do. I've been watching them. They putting in work over there. I'm telling you, that Crowley tough. They taking it personal. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they really build it over there. So whichever one come out, it seems like that's the closest thing to Fort Worth, unless y'all claim Toledo, that's gonna be successful.
Listen, man, stop that Toledo mess, man. Toledo and Parker County, man. So no, but coach, listen, I'm an old head. So my thought process is a whole lot different. And Coach Gates also, if you don't know, Coach Gates allowed Pac Prime to use their field as their home field in Texas sports. So he's already reached out his hand to Fort Worth, 817. You know what I'm saying? It's already being done. You know what I'm saying? So I brought it up because when I said it, and I've always said it, them folks around me feel some type of way, right? But whenever we go to North Crowley, we do our best because they accommodate us. Like I said, my son been in Pac Prime's organization for 3 years, and we've been there for 2 years. And I appreciate everything Coach Gates done for my child, just allowing him to go play in this area. And that's basically my campaign. My campaign is the youth football teams, that the select ones. We ain't talking about rec. We talking select. We talking the Wolverines. We talking the Bills. We talking We talking to select. When we play outside of league, guess where we got to go? We got to go to DeSoto.
Yep.
There is not one time we've had something like that in Fort Worth. The closest we got is R.L. Anderson in Mansfield.
Not only that,
right?
Not only that, you know what I'm saying? Like the door is always open, man. And it ain't because I'm trying to get kids there. I'm like, coach, like they need an opportunity. Our district right now, we got a $1.1 billion bond that's about to be voted on in May. On that bond is an indoor track and an outdoor track and a new wrestling facility. All that will be housed at the stadium. Same deal there. If that passes, kids that run track, the doors are open. There's just avenue for our kids to have an opportunity to be in things that other kids in other areas that don't look like them get an opportunity to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the door's gonna always be open. You need the indoor, call me. I don't charge nothing. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I've been there.
It's always open.
Been there. All we gotta do clean up behind ourselves.
But that's what you
Coach
do.
G, Coach G though. So that's what I'm saying. The approach that Coach Gates had, right? That approach, and that's why I always say that it goes back to who that person is that can galvanize the community, that can lead change. It's not necessarily the school. It's always going to come down to that individual. And the fact that he has the resources that he needs, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I keep saying. It's like when you say 817 to me, shit, they the only one in the 817 that done one state. That's in Fort Worth.
No, that's not true. Everman.
Everman.
Okay.
Everman. Yeah, Matt Step put up something there. Yeah, they had a great run for about 15
Everman
years.
had like an 8-year run.
Okay, but what I'm saying is Everman is considered Fort Worth, yes, but y'all always say Everman, right? You know what I'm saying? To me, when you talk about North Crowley, I didn't know North Crowley was actually in Fort Worth. I assumed that North Crowley was its own individual entity. And see, that's what makes this conversation even more hard for me to digest. Because if they are a Fort Worth school, not Fort Worth school, a Fort Worth based organization, you know what I'm saying? They are 817.
Well,
they are.
Okay.
If their kids are Fort Worth kids,
they Fort Worth, not just 817. They Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Anything.
I get what, because I understand the history of it.
No. If you use that logic, if you listen, I'm talking about the same way that y'all Keese and Polk, 20 and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been out there. How y'all pick off y'all neighborhoods by streets. You know, I got bit on the State Street in South Oak Cliff. They're the state streets. Yeah. You know, I know how y'all pick off y'all neighborhoods, and it's the same way we do in Fort Worth. That's what I'm saying. It's the Meadowbrook, Forest Hill, Oak Cliff, Rolling Hills. Crowley wasn't one of them. You see what I'm saying?
You saying Hewlett Street was one of them.
Let me say this, and then I'll shut up on that. You know, when you were in school, North Crowley wasn't even open. Am I correct?
No, sir.
So you would be correct because Crowley is in Crowley, actual Crowley.
Yes, correct.
North Crowley got built in 1998. The school's only
correct
25 years old. You know what I'm saying? So we are like I am 2 miles from Southwest.
Yes,
you
are.
I'm 2 miles from Southwest. I can fall out. I can throw a football from my campus to Southwest. You know what I'm saying? And so as far as the logistics behind it, I get it. You know what I'm saying? We're not Fort Worth ISD. Just like DISD, when people talk about DISD and they talk about the southern sector, like Cedar Hill is its own entity, DeSoto is on Lancaster. They're not DISD, but everybody, when they say Dallas and they talk about South Dallas, everybody know who they're talking about.
And the closest thing I can put to it, but they actually are in Wilmer, is basically Dallas to Wilmer Hutchins. It's almost like that comparison.
Okay.
It's that comparison.
So Hutch would be like North Crowley.
Correct.
And Crowley would be more like Fair.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I got you.
Right. But when they because down that way, that was down where the toll road run down to North Crowley. That was all. I don't even know who it belonged to. I guess Fort Worth annexed it. I don't know. I just know that back in that time, you know, when I, like you said, North Crowley wasn't. I couldn't go down there at night. That pass out, you know, because like you said, you got to deal with the rebels and the raiders. We didn't go that way. So when they finally opened it up to us, yeah, it's North Crowley, and also. Since I work for the Postal Service, anything 761 is considered Fort Worth. Period. Anything 761. Anything 751 is considered Dallas. So it's the or 7, you know, it's considered Dallas. So and that's just what and I get it. And like I said, me and my buddy Zombie Land that's done a lot of film work for the Fort Worth area, we argue about it all the time, but you know, it's exactly Highland Park should be, but you know, it is what it is. But no, like I said, I don't have a problem with North Crowley per se. I've been in there. I got a niece in North Crowley, so I can't have a problem with, you know. I just know that there's a lot of folk who Crowley proper. Crowley High, it was a lot of mess coming out of there, you know, and a lot of people feel a way about that. But like I said, dealing with Coach Gates, like I said, and the way Coach Gates has opened the door for my son, I don't feel that way, but it's a lot of folks who do.
And
because I promise you, if Everman would have done that, it wouldn't have been a word said.
But any
that's
suburb,
all I'm saying. And like I say, DeSoto was the same way.
Yeah,
and
any suburb
we got
probably
over that.
has that history if you go back far enough. You know what I'm saying? So everybody wouldn't necessarily feel away.
And about the practices at the different facilities and stuff. Like how Coach Gates can just say, shoot, you know, hey, y'all can come, you know, shit, we'll cut the light on for you to clean up. What that happened, like research, like think of track. Go back to the 80s and 90s. Where was all the track clubs at then?
Sprague. Dallas. In Dallas.
Well, we've always had one.
And then who was then where was everybody running fast at? In Dallas.
Yep.
Now you start looking at everybody and got faster across 20.
Mm-hmm.
Because why? Because now all them same Dallas cats, they pretty much run every team, like Swift, Nitro, you know, all these teams. What they all practice at now?
DeSoto.
So where you so you know, like then you just follow the speed, you know, but you follow where they start at as a young kid in order to take you to where they gonna end up at.
That's right.
The thing that's unique with us, I think it's something that a lot of people just don't understand is our relationship base of people knowing us overrides where a kid could live his whole life.
Mm.
Because they may be like, nah, my attachment or my bond or my trust of leaving my kid with these people, not just saying me, it's everybody got a different group of people that they may have grew up with, is stronger than where you stay.
Hey.
And select ball has an effect on that too, has had an effect. Because the teams aren't as localized.
Yeah.
You know,
everybody's,
you know, you may look 10 years from now, and Coach Gates got 2 kids that play with some kids from Rockwall. You know what I'm saying? Their whole life, because that's what select ball is. So and they met at a central location. Like he said, they was at North Crowley practicing, or they was at this school practicing. So it's not as I grew up next to this school. My little league team was right here. We only play teams around here. That's not as common anymore. I don't care where you stay.
And nowhere. And the Fort Worth teams that won, they came up from the Fort Worth Chaparrals all the way through, and then that Dunbar had a little league team over there. They all stayed together all the way through. So those are the ones that went the deepest in Fort Worth ISD. And then, but track wise, we don't have no issues in Fort Worth in track. The fastest family in Fort Worth, they run that. Them Brazils.
Yeah.
Yeah, ain't no doubt. Ain't no doubt. Ain't no
No
doubt.
doubt about that.
And then about your principal, like, see, my principal at SOC, when I was at Lincoln, he was the assistant principal too. So that's what I'm talking. So like he don't come down there and bother me like not one of them like for nothing. Anything football related, like he Todd, you got full autonomy. You'll see him on the sideline. He's gonna be eating shit and running up and down the field, cussing out referees and having a good old time.
Yeah, he do. What's his name, man? I keep forgetting his name because I see him out.
Dr. Willie Fred Johnson.
Yeah, Dr. Johnson.
Dr. Johnson, boy.
But
Hey,
you know,
Dr.
so I'm saying, like, that's another thing. And he a former coach, so he believe in the impact of sports on people.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we wouldn't be where we at if we didn't have him as a principal. And then if he didn't have us as coaches, his school wouldn't be where it's at as far as dealing with athletics in the sport we coach. So that's what I'm saying. All these pieces go hand in hand. What you got to realize in Dallas is, and these big metroplex, like Crowley and them a little different. It's just two schools. But in Dallas, the people downtown don't run shit about the school. The school is ran by the principal. Because downtown can't hire you for no job at no school. Like, you can want to be the football coach and you can be best friends with the superintendent. But if that principal like, nah, I don't want him at my school, that can't nobody do nothing about it.
Right.
So, you know, so in Dallas, it's really 22 independent school districts under one roof. Because that just how it's ran.
But it's been successful.
No, I mean, yeah, it is in entities, but it's all about having the pieces lined up at the individual school. Like, you can't win without a good principal. Then you gotta know who the power people at the school is. Who the people that make the school go. Because the principal got people underneath him. The principal ain't doing all this shit. You gotta know who made the school go. Who overmaster schedule. Who do this. Who do that. Like, you got to know all these different people. Like, who the person who run the money. Like, you know, that you need to go talk to make sure everything's straight on that aspect. And so what we did at SOC was, I think, because as much shit as I talk on social media, I'm really a very likable person at work. Like, I don't think nobody at work gonna say nothing bad about me because I don't bother nobody. I don't do shit fuck with nobody. But at the end of the day, I think we understand how to monopolize the school, and we made everybody feel a part of it. Like, we bought everybody a state championship medal, from the cafeteria workers to the custodians to anybody that got a substitutes. Everybody, I gave fucking medals to little league kids that saw me walking out the stadium after we just won state, and was like, "Coach, can I touch your medal?" I'm like, "Nah, this shit's yours. Here you go."
Wow.
It's chicks at the parade. Old lady sitting on the curb, damn near in tears. I'm saying, "Here, take the goddamn medal." Well, we bought like 100 more.
Wow.
When the Dubs medal coming in, Coach?
Y'all missed that boat. Y'all gotta wait till round 3. but that's what I'm saying.
They went fast now.
So we made this shit, and just to tell you the real difference, man, between us and I'm gonna say the basketball world of coaches. When Kimball just won state, and that was their 6th title, I think, or 7th, one of them, 7.
Respect.
It only was about Kimball and Kimball. When we won state, we purposely, it was strategically thought out along the road to state. This shit just ain't about SOC. We made sure, if you go back and listen to every word we say, we always said Dallas. Then you wonder why when we have parade, more motherfuckers turn up for the shit and turn out for the shit. Because we included everybody. But we ain't no dumb motherfucker. Like, we really smart. We just act like we stupid.
You just act like that.
But this shit was strategic. You never heard us say, we might say, yeah, for the Oak Cliff community, but this shit bigger than Oak Cliff. This shit bigger than SOC. This shit Dallas. So we just incorporate everybody. So what we did was, on our road to state the first time, we made allies with everybody because we made sure everybody felt included. We didn't want nobody alienated, because how am I alienate South Dallas? Well, hell, I'm from South Dallas.
Right.
Ward from Keystone Polk over that goddamn area with them Kimber people. Like Coach Davis from fucking East Dallas.
Yeah.
Coach Spence from Glen Oaks or whatever that shit is. So we made sure everybody was included. And now everybody flocked. But then you see the different following. But then people want the same shit Sock did, but they ain't including the same people Sock included.
Right.
Yeah, you saw us because we said Dallas when we won state. We didn't say no goddamn Oak Cliff or just Sock. We said Dallas. This for Dallas. Ward goddamn Twitter handle say DISD grad. He don't say Kimball. This is strategic. And now, do you wonder why we got the ball lit up? We got the ball lit up without asking. They had to call and be like, why we ain't got the fucking skyline like downtown like Sock had it?
Oh, come on, Coach. Come on.
That real shit.
Really?
Hey, wasn't no trustee. Hey, like wasn't no trustee trying to be all in the pictures, marketing with the motherfucking sports shit till Maxie Johnson did that shit. Now because Maxie did this shit, now you see George Foreman in every goddamn picture with Kimball. Like this shit strategic. Like ain't no lying shit I'm telling you. But then George Foreman over Bastard with feet in the sock, and that goddamn school look like shit.
I was at Bastard for 4 years, never seen her.
But Bastard ain't even in the sock feeder pattern under the trustees. It go to the Carter feeder pattern. But ain't nobody why Bastard ain't got no new school. But every school Maxie done did. Holmes getting a new school. Zoomwalk got renovated with Todd. That shit named after my granddaddy now. Like we done got the shit at Sock, Pinkston. Maxie done did help do all that shit in his section. But then the other school to feed in the Sock look like a goddamn penitentiary. That was the oldest fucking middle school built. But why ain't nobody redoing that shit?
1933. Never been renovated.
Like, think of this shit. So people got to understand, a lot of people just doing some shit to make people think they really for this shit, but they really for this shit. Like Maxie Johnson, as much as me and him argue like hell, his ass, like shit, he going 10 toes deep.
Yeah, he committed.
Every time, Dr. Johnson.
He there, man, and he there. I'm gonna let my man right here have the last word though. But hey, Coach Gates, I appreciate you popping on though.
Nah, man, that's Swaggin' Wit.
Yeah, Swaggin' popping on.
Nah, man, we ain't finna hear me out. He ain't been heard all day. We ain't finna end with it.
You want me to mute him? We ain't got nothing to say. Do it.
Yeah, nah, we won't hear that shit.
He try to hop on land. Hey, you just talking about strategic. That there you go, right there. He strategically
let his ass in.
Well, I mean, he is the dub. I got a little bit.
Nah, man, that ain't how you just pop in at the end of the show to holler at some chicks or something.
Well, he probably want. I ain't gonna lie. He probably want to stop. I'll be honest with you, Coach. Again. Coach Gates, Willow. That ain't Willow only coach. Willow ain't the only one that think Coach Gates is they coaching crush. That's another one right here.
Hey, one last thing before I get out.
He trying to get Gates to Carter.
I'm gonna tell you something. and people don't even know this, but
come on.
Our shit is socked so fucking deep that it be motherfuckers that used to work for us that'll be breaking down film for us in the fucking playoffs and shit like they coached us still. Think about that shit.
That's everybody rooting for you, though, Coach.
Nah,
that's putting.
I think Coach said something that was real important. You know what I'm saying? Inclusive. Like he made everybody feel a part. When people feel like they are a stakeholder, they support. You know what I'm saying? And when they said we were going to, black out or we were going to white out, dog, that first state championship, when we lost in the playoffs, I went to every side game that they played. I think we lost in the third round that year. I went to the next 3 games. Everywhere they played, I went to it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even from Dallas. You know what I'm saying? But just the opportunity to see something that was historic and for the way that they did it, man, everybody had to straight up say, like, that was chess, not checkers. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Everybody showed up, dog. People that probably ain't been to a game all year showed up. You know, but again, when you do that, people rally behind it. You know what I'm saying? You got to give people the opportunity. When you keep everything to yourself and you holding your cards to your chest, and then when you make it and nobody show up, no, you can't be mad at nobody but yourself. You know what I'm saying? I always, like I say, at the end of the day, for our kids, I always go back to what's best for our kids. I don't care what nobody say outside of the room. I'm going to always go what's best for our kids. And if we can get people pack the stands, however we do it, and that's what's going to be best for our kids, let's do it. And our community will show up if we give them an opportunity to. But a lot of times, we exit out before we even ask them. Oh, you know, they ain't finna ride. That's too far. They ain't going to come. No. When we played in Odessa, second round, five hours, we packed up like Superintendent, Dr. McFarland. He bought 4 charter buses, full. Parents didn't pay a cent. They got on there and they rode to the game, dog. And then you had people that drove to the game.
I'm about to say a whole bunch of people went because they let the school out.
Absolutely. We shut down school, dog. The second round playoff game. I walk out the field house, it's people all in our parking lot sending us off. It's second round. So, like, people are hungry for it. And when you give them an opportunity, they show up, man. Our people going to show up. We just got to give them an opportunity.
Yeah, they do. And you have great crowds out there, too.
Hey, real.
You know, that's
quick.
for sure.
I had to jump on because what Ty was saying a while ago was the absolute fucking truth. 100% what you said, Cole, was the truth. There's a lot of old ass schools around town, a lot of them. And like I said, like you said, if they ain't doing nothing good, they ain't winning, ain't shit finna get done about it. But like I have told you before, though, like I told all of y'all, during the COVID year, the same damn superintendent, Hannah Hossa, was the same motherfucker that got on the internet and said when he shut down sports, his exact words was, "It ain't like a Dallas school gonna win anyway. So why even then the next year y'all won?" And there his ass going on the sideline, taking all the damn snapshots with you, holding the trophy and all that. I don't forget shit because them words, honestly, to me, was, even though I'm not a coach, I'm not a player, but I took that shit to heart because I was just like, damn, that was just harsh for him to just say it like that. Like, ain't like we gonna win anyway, and then boom, y'all go out there and do it. So, Coach Todd, Coach Ward, Coach Gates, y'all all just keep doing what y'all doing, man. I'm proud of y'all. I'm gonna stick by y'all 100% no matter what, win, lose, or draw. Until y'all play Carter High School, we gonna. But I mean.
Hey, all right, man. Coach G, I appreciate you hanging in there with me, man. I know you got a lot of work to do tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all.
Hey,
appreciate you, Coach Gates. Appreciate you. Huh?
Who? Let your son know I got something for him too next time I see y'all.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
Hey, Coach Gates, you got a few years to try to keep me in Funky Town. I'm just saying.
Hey. Real talk. Hey, let's talk about it because I don't care. There's a school on him so hard right now. He listen. Like I said, Coach Todd, Coach Gates, everybody was out there in DeSoto. He actually shook Coach Todd's hand, but it's an Eagle up 35, not too far from me, is on him hard. And Coach Todd beat him on his trek last year.
Oh, well, we're gonna let everybody guess who that is. I think I already know, but we
But hey, like I said, we gonna go. Listen, we gonna do what's best. But I appreciate y'all. Got to get up in the morning.
All right, there, y'all.
Me too, man. I appreciate you, Coach Gates, man. You know you welcome anytime. You see how easy it was. All it takes is a phone call, brother.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I had to get on here and speak a little truth, man. I appreciate what y'all do, man. You know I'm a fan.
Hey, man, you know you welcome anytime, bro. Anytime. All the time. Anytime. It don't even matter. I'm glad you popped on. The homie Coach Paul popped on last week. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't like what he had heard. So, you know, I like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of platform we have. We got the kind of platform. If you disagree, especially your coach, you darn sure welcome to pop in. You know what I'm saying? We get it. We gonna set the record straight expeditiously.
Hey, your church said all. I come in peace.
I come in peace. That's why I wore it today.
I'm watching. I come in.
Appreciate you,
What'd
Coach.
you say, Swaggy?
Huh?
What'd you say?
My shirt. I come in peace.
I come in peace.
Well, you just need to come. Like,
yeah, we just need you to show, Coach.
Yeah.
Coach, can we get a pre-recorded speech about showing up? We need a pre-recorded.
Yeah,
I need a pre-recorded speech, and we gonna just sit it.
Yeah, I got you, man. Yeah, I'll put something together tomorrow, man. I'll get him fired up. He probably be here about an hour and a half the next time before the show even kick off.
Well, that's what we need, Coach. Right now, he is unruly. He uncoachable. He doing whatever he wants to do.
He is Bobby Brown. He like Bobby Brown. We spent all that money for New Edition tickets, and Bobby took the night off. That's wit right there. You know what I'm saying? That's swagging right now.
Y'all be easy.
He got a no trade clause too, and a no trade clause.
All right, fellas.
Watch this.
Next, football talk is a big hit. Sunday nights to Wednesday nights, we striking a match cause we lit. Y'all know the name, we call it the Dub. On Friday nights, it feel like a club. Getting that VIP treatment on the sideline, they showing us love. Great interviews, go Hugs. Putting in work, go good. Texas youth and high school talking to page on